All right, y'all, we give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yahuwah in the name of his only son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Pick us up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they which testify of me, and you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Allah in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that comes from Allah only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, of whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? Proverbs 15 and 30. Little girl. Stop. Leave it alone. Say the light of the eyes rejoice the heart, and a good report make the bones fat. Some old Gentile on one of them groups I'd be dropping this work in kept talking about, what's the light of the eyes? What's the good report? I'm like, well, you know, he always say stuff. He like to say something like, you know what, today I'm going to entertain. I feel like entertaining. And I'm like, the sad part is he didn't know this was a verse in the script. That's the sad part. But what is the light of the eyes that rejoice the heart? Who has an idea? Who has any idea what that can mean and what that is pointing to? You know, this man had the nerve to tell me nobody can ever be a teacher. Jesus is the only teacher. They never were apostles. They're just disciples. You're forever a student, never a teacher. I say, you's a dummy if I ever seen. I'm going to show you why that makes absolutely no sense while it's on my mind. Go to Matthew 13 and 47. Yeah, same dude. Talking about you can't never be a teacher. You can. I say, son, that don't make no sense. I say, well, how the word gonna get taught? Make it 13 and 45. Somebody got to know it to be able to teach it. That makes no sense. Because at that point, you trying to tell me what this means. So what that make you?
Well, tell me what it don't.
Indeed. You remember what the word disciple mean, right? Seal my law amongst my disciples. You remember what that word means? Taught one. Well, what you've been taught about? The Son of God. That's what it means to be a disciple, literally. You've been taught of the Son of Elohim. You're not a disciple because you know you're an Israelite, and you're not a disciple because you keep laws. That don't make you a disciple. Because them people before Yahushua came on the scene kept laws and knew they were Israelites, and none of them were called a disciple. Because you should know Isaiah 8 was referring to something that was to come. But we've discussed that not too long ago, so we're not going to deal with that right now. Matthew chapter 13, verse 45. Again, the kingdom of Shamahim is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Now, we done talked about that recently as well. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of people don't value, you remember what he told you? He said that you should buy gold to him tried in the fire, that you might be rich. And that through him come riches and honor, and he has durable riches. See, a lot of individuals do not seek or understand that what he has to sell. Matter of fact, put it this way, the thing that started us going through the book of Proverbs to begin with. Proverbs 23 and 23, right? Does anybody recall what Proverbs 23 and 23 say? He told you to buy something. What did he tell you to buy? What else did he tell you to buy along with that? That's one of them. I mean, I told you where it's at. You can look for yourself. He told you to buy you wisdom. Remember, what is instruction? What does that word instruction actually mean? Discipline and chastisement. He told you to acquire faith, chastisement, wisdom, and understanding. And that's where riches would come from. That's what he told you to acquire and to possess. So when you see of how that's a great price, you would sell everything you had, or like Mashiach told his disciples in Matthew 19, you will forsake all that you have for his name's sake. You would understand how valuable that is. That's what's in front of you. And again, this is to reiterate the fact you can't get that from no law, and you can't get that from knowing you're an Israelite. That's not of a great price. I see right now they going off on something. You know the dude who made the song "Banging on Esau"? Yeah, dude got a rap song called "Banging on Esau." Yeah, but you know, dude's a professional MC though. Like he tried to be a rapper. He traveled the same road like East traveled. Like was in the recording industry, this, that, and the third. So dude can rhyme. You may or may not like his music, but nevertheless, bruh's an MC. See, look at you. You're about to choke yourself because you're not sitting down like you're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? And now they ridiculing Buddy because I think Buddy teaching you ain't got to keep the laws no more, and he bringing heathens in. Who knows? I don't know. But this is what I do know. A lot of dudes start looking at, for whatever reason, that the One West doctrine don't do it for them no more. So then they turn from that for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? But see, I'm mentioning that for this cause because he's telling people you need to follow Christ's doctrine. Christ's doctrine is the same as his father's. And what is his doctrine? But what we read about last night, that he is what? Compassionate, gracious, abundant, and mercy and truth, and forgive sin and iniquity. You know what I'm saying? That's what the man is about. That is his doctrine. That's what he told the apostles to teach, which is what Yahuwah had been teaching from the foundation. Matter of fact, I meant to read it last night. I'm already around here. Come to Jeremiah 32. We'll come right back to Matthew 13. Jeremiah 32 and 16, if you would. But sure, you can make it 13. Jeremiah 32 and 13. See, little girl.
32 and 13.
Little girl.
What you say from 32 and 13?
Yep, little girl.
All right.
Don't tuck your lip in. All y'all like to stick your lip out, except for you. 32 and 13. All y'all like to stick your lip out. Nobody care nothing about you sticking your lip out. Look at you. Now. Jeremiah 30. Shalom, man. Jeremiah 32 and 13. And I charged Baruch before them, saying, thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, Elohim of Yasharal, take these evidence, this evidence of the purchase, both which is sealed and this evidence which is open, and put them in the earthen vessel, that they may continue many days. Now, we don't went over that before. Who remembers what this is pointing to? Indeed, but we got to be more specific. Now, listen what he said, right? He said, take the evidences, the evidence of the purchase. Now, that's where you correct on your first assessment. The Ruach HaKadosh is evidence of the purchase. Because what does he tell you in Corinthians, right? That you were bought with a price. What were you bought with? You sold yourselves for nothing to be redeemed without money. The Ruach HaKadosh is evidence of the purchase, or the covenant is evidence of the purchase. See, that takes you back to Exodus 15, right? When they tell you the people that you have purchased. You recall that? Exodus 15, the Song of Moses. See, I'm mentioning all this here for one reason and one reason alone. Because what did I tell you? You should be able to, it's all the same word. So I don't care where you read, what you read, it's all the same word. The prophets ain't saying nothing different than what's written in the law. The law ain't saying nothing different than what Mashiach said. Mashiach ain't saying nothing different than what Paul wrote. Peter ain't saying nothing different than what Mashiach said. It's all the same word. Meaning that the whole doctrine that's being taught is the doctrine that the Father set from the foundation of the world, which we read in that last verse in Psalms 119 that we finished. We're looking at the character Kuf last night. It's the same word. So mercy and truth has been from the foundation. That ain't never changed. You can see mercy and truth in Genesis chapter 1. That's right there in Genesis chapter 1 when he say the fruit tree who yielded fruit after his kind and the seed is in itself. That mercy and truth right there if you have understanding. See, that's what we after, because y'all already know this. If you lack understanding, you're worthy of what? So you have to have, and what did Solomon write? Get wisdom, but in all your getting, you have to get understanding. And Yahushua taught them, the whole book was about them. And what did he say he did? He opened their understanding that they might understand the scriptures. That's it. You have insight on who he is, what's his plan, and how you operate within that plan. That's it. It's literally that simple. It's not complex. It's not no more than that. You don't have to overcomplicate it. It's just simply understanding who he is, what he's about, and how you can please him. If you keep it in that area, you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? If you try to make it seem like I need to know 1,000,001 things and I need to be able to break this down and break that down, you will never be able to serve him in the fashion that you want to because you overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. Very simple. The same way you know the man you married to, you know him? I'm saying, do you know him? You know him well? You know what I'm saying? Roll your eyes again. See, you blame it on that baby. That ain't that baby got you doing that. Yes, you did. See, that's the sad part. Shoot, elbow, forehead. Oh, you got one too? Oh, you fight back, huh? That's what I like. I've been wrestling since I was 7. I broke my elbow in a wrestling match and won the tag team titles in the middle of it. Oh, you're a tough one, huh? Oh, I forgot. You from Kent Night. That's how y'all bred. She be trying to abuse you because you can blink your eyes and see it. Shalom, man. Shalom, gentlemen. But now, seriously, right? I'm using his example, right? You would know him. If you know him, you know what he like. You know what he don't like. You understand how he think. You understand how he moves. You know what I'm talking about? When you understand that, it's easier for you to interact with him. But if you don't understand who he is, what he likes, what he doesn't like, it's going to be difficult for you to interact with him. Because you may not understand every single solitary thing your husband says or does. That's not the point. See, that's how y'all mind work. I want to know. Stop worrying about knowing and just come on. You'll find out when we finish. Because that's what he did with a lot. You think he told Isaiah walk butt naked? You think I want to know why I got to be. Oh, you didn't know he told Isaiah to walk butt naked? Oh, you weren't aware of that. Oh, yeah, he told him to go walk butt naked for a reason, and he told him what the reason was after he did it. He said, "Go around here and walk butt naked for me for a second. This for a reason. I need you to go do this." Straight up now, he told people to do several things, and it was for a reason. It was for a point. It was to manifest something that he was going to do to the whole house of Yasharal. It's a lot of brews right now. If you would say, "Come on around here and walk butt naked," are you walking naked? What I'm gonna do that for? And he said, "You know what? I ain't fooling with you." Same way he had told the dude in Kings what he told. I forgot exactly what he told the dude in King. He said, "Go do this here, destroy that altar, and don't go back the way you came. Don't eat no water in this place. Don't drink no bread in this. Eat no bread in this place. Just go." He went and did the first half, but he didn't do the second, and he killed him right where he stood at because he didn't listen. Because see, we be worrying about understanding why. The understanding to come out when you finish. Just go do what I asked you to do. That's why he don't ask a lot of people to do that. Where we at? Jeremiah 13. Now the other part. Now what do you think that meant? The evidence which is sealed and the evidence which is open, that you can put them in an earthen vessel. Now the evidence that is open is the evidence that the Ruach is in you. The evidence that is sealed is the changing of your body. Because remember he said, put that in an earthen vessel. You know what I'm saying? Because with the Ruach in you, that's evidence that you've been taught. Without it, there's no. Remember, Yahuwah is real big on evidence, is he not? It has to be. That's why I be tripping on dudes. You don't need no marriage certificate. You lying to me. How you gonna prove that's your wife? Okay, I get it. You don't want the government in your business. I ain't pressed about that. But never in the history of the sons of Yasharal has anything been done without evidence. Because what he talking about, evidence of purchase of buying land. I can't say I bought your land and then I ain't got no evidence to prove I bought it. That's not how Yahuwah works. You understand? You don't realize that Ark of the Covenant was all purpose of showing proof, evidence, these mine? Because all that was in that box was what? The 2 tables of stone. Now, of course, can't nobody pop that open. But if somebody pop that open, there's the proof. Oh, them people, they're mine. That's me right there. You know what I'm saying? That's me right there. He told you that in Ezekiel 16. He said, I entered into a covenant with you, and you became mine. You think there was a covenant with Jonathan and David? You think it wasn't nothing written down? How you gonna prove that? And say if you say, "Oh, that's my wife," and somebody come up and say, "Where the proof at?" He can take her with him. Now you're gonna be sad, wanting to kill her and him, because that's what they did in the ancient time. That's your wife. Where the proof at? Oh, see, we stood before God and made vow. He said, "All right, I'm gonna vow her to my house." Because I'm gonna put some paper. I'm just being honest with you though. You gotta have evidence. If you don't got the ruach in you, where's the evidence that you belong to him? Ain't no proof. You just talking. Oh man,
That's tight.
yeah, that's rough now. It ain't that crucial. It's really simple.
It's tight.
All it means is this here: if you believe and obey, you belong to him. If you disbelieve and disobey, you don't. It's really just that simple. All it is, instead of the Ark of the Covenant going from place to place, the Ark of the Covenant go with you, where you go. That's why he said, "While I am, my servant will be also." You know what I'm saying? I done told y'all about it before. For indeed, no spirit, he don't know you. I remember my homeboy by this here, man, we gotta go, you could go to the strip club and in the club and preach the gospel to people. I said, well, you know the Lord ain't going in no strip club to preach to nobody. I say anybody in a club will look at you and be like, nigga, why is you here? How many of y'all would be willing to listen to somebody preach some word to you while you in the club? The first thing gonna click in your mind is why you here. Because deep down in your spirit, you already know a godly person wouldn't even be here. We got to go reach the lost soul. What are people trying to reach some lost yams? That's what they're trying to do. Reach the lost drug dealer. The last call for alcohol. Because if they wanted to seek the Lord, they wouldn't have been here. You know what I'm saying? One thing, sir, you ain't never see the Lord walking in no strip club talking about, repent, the kingdom of God is at hand. He ain't going in there. He ain't going in there. Going there for what? And you ain't going in there to preach no gospel either. You finna pull a Lou Williams talking about you came in here for some wings. You came here for some wings, all right. They might do. You know how you done been in wackos, ain't you? Talking about the best burgers in the city. Look how she looking at you. You bet not have been.
Yes, sir. I had some videos. It was like they had like mixture. The women was dancing and they was fellowshipping for say ministry. I was like, wow.
I done heard of that.
They all had that. Like, wow, this is insane.
Indeed, it is. There was a lady about 5, 6 years, maybe 7, 8 years ago. She talking about the word from the stripper pole with a whole areola out every time she be on there.
I seen that.
Mm-hmm. That's that witchcraft knowledge.
That's witchcraft.
Tavon said that happened to him. Say he was up in there one time and his cousin seen him. He said, I thought he was creeping. He said, what you doing in here? He said, I felt shamed. I ain't if you supposed to be ashamed. Look at what you doing in here, boy. I came here for a sandwich. I bet you did come for some buns, some hamburger buns. My cousin daddy did that one time. We caught him coming out of Waco. We told him, don't tell nobody. I'm like, nigga, I'm grown. Nigga, you grown. I've been in the strip club several times before I was of age, sir. I don't care nothing about you coming in here. Talking about, don't tell your daughter. She don't care. She done been in one. He grown. He like, here, you're ashamed because you around here watching the white girl. Cecil. Call Cecil coming up out of Waco years ago. Don't tell your cousin. Man, go ahead on, man. I'm 25 years old. I don't care about all that, man. Jeremiah 32:15. But thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Yasharal, houses and fields and vineyards shall be possessed again in this land. Now, when I had delivered the evidence of the purchase unto Baruch, the son of Neriah, I prayed unto Yahuwah, Yahuwah Elohim. Behold, you have made heaven and earth by your great power and stretched out arm. There's nothing too hard for you. You show loving kindness unto thousands and recompense the iniquity of the fathers into the bosoms of their sons after them. The great, mighty Elohim, Yahuwah of hosts, is his name. Great in counsel, mighty in work, for your eyes are open upon all the ways of the sons of men to give everyone according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. He said, he gonna do nothing but pay you back what you earned. He said, he great in counsel, mighty in work, and show love and kindness unto thousands. Like, we overlook these facts when this man tell you what type of man he is. He told you also that he's an Elohim of judgment. That means he's the power of what's right and what's wrong. This stuff is very simple when you talk about encapsulating his character. That's why he tell you the gospel is simple. What's hard about being compassionate? What's hard about being merciful? What's hard about being forgiving? What's hard about being full of mercy and truth? What's really difficult about that? What's difficult about being slow to anger? Self-control. You know how many times this man wanted to kill every single solitary soul on this earth? Come on, man. He said he repented. You know, it took him a long time before he flooded this earth out. Now just imagine you created a creation for your esteem and they own your creation. Wow. You understand that? Now let's sit back and look at it, because we don't know what's going on in the rest of the world. Let's just deal with where we at. You got men saying they women and women saying they men. You got somebody around here dumpster diving in a man's back door. Women around here with strap-ons acting like they actually get a tingling in a plastic penis while they having alleged sex with another woman. You got women who so mad with men yet masquerade as a man every day. That's just the simple stuff. Let's not even talk about idolatry. That's not talking about envy. That's not talking about covetousness. That's not talking about murder. That's not even talking about all of that. This is what go on every day. Well, I just seen it's been 777 shootings in New York City in August, and that's how many shootings they had last year. Now, back in the days in New York City, well, it used to be 3,000 to 4,000 murders. Now, of course, they got 13 million people, so it's not as bad. But then when you come to a city like Jacksonville and you got 150, and then the population is 800,000, not counting the suburbs, that is ridiculous. Or when you take a city like New Orleans that only had 500,000, and they got 150, 200 murders a year. That's ridiculous. This is what's been consistently going on in this place. And what are people murdering about? Money, pride, fornication.
I saw that on the news. Already over 100 murders in Jacksonville alone.
I mean, they've been killing in this city since I've been alive.
No, they said it's higher than it was last year.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but that ain't nothing new. It ain't high as it was in the early 2000s. Early 2000s, these boys weren't playing no games. Before I went to prison, these boys weren't playing no games. They were clipping people on the regular. And in the 90s, it wasn't nothing for somebody to come on stage around. And I told you, ain't no game bang. Because see, he came down here thinking it was going to be game bang. I said, they don't game bang here, son. They going to bang you about that bread. That's what they going to bang you about. Ain't nobody, oh, he got on blue. He a crip. I'm going to kill him. Nah, he going to be like, well, you better get off my block. I'm finna kill you. Or you making more money than me, I'm finna kill you. Or you hit a chick I want to hit, I'm mad, so I'm finna kill you. And that goes on everywhere in this country, man. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, as you already know, you kill who you live around. Period. That's why it seems that it's more black people killing black people. You kill who you live around. If you was white, you're going to see that white people kill more white people. And white people ain't riding around killing a whole bunch of black people. They're killing other white people. But at the end of the day, it's the darkness of the heart that leads to that issue. Okay. We good with that. Come back to Matthew 13. But you see how they say he sold all that he had and bought it? You have to be willing to sell your whole life away and buy that gospel. Go ahead and lay hold of wisdom, understanding, discipline, and faith. Verse 47 of Matthew chapter 13. Again, the kingdom of Shamaim was likened to a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind. And when it was full, they drew to the shore and sat down and gathered the good in the vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just. See, that's what people don't sit back and realize, right? Like that, there's another lady, because my man Rohan said he kept comment to the girl. She talking about, you mad because we broke free of this fairy tale? And you know what I told her? Baby, nobody cares. You know what? You know what? A lot of people who deal with this word mess up at. You feel the need to impress on people who say they think it's a fairy tale or they don't believe it. Why do you care? What did now y'all ain't go something to teach no word, but I keep telling y'all this every time. What did Yahushua tell his apostles to do? They said if they don't want to receive your testimony, dust your feet off. What he told them about the scribes and Pharisees, what he told them to do? He said, leave them alone. If the blind lead the blind, they all gonna fall into a ditch. But this goes back to one reason alone. We talked about this when we were dealing with the olive in the top, or olive man specifically. If you know that what you're doing is right, you don't need the validation of others. So I don't need you to believe me. I'm not going to be offended because you don't. So if you tell me I don't believe in these fairy tales, hell ain't real, but that's your business. You know what I'm saying? But in due time, Yahuwah will show his forth self mighty on the earth. He will reign, and you will humble yourself under his authority, whether you want to or not. Period. That's all you got to tell them. And I keep telling y'all, they will not know how to respond to that because they're looking for somebody to go back and forth with them. That's talking about some of the religious people, some of the biggest judgmental hypocrites in the earth. And that very well may be true, but that don't change the fact that the word is true. That very well may be true. And baby, you don't even know what it means to be judgmental, you stupid idiot. You feel judged in your heart because you know you're wrong. See, you around here licking on a woman's vagina, somebody tell you that wrong, you feel like Herodias. I want to kill him because you know you wrong. Now, people being hypocrites, I ain't got nothing to do with that. All I can tell you is, don't tell nobody not to do something that's how you live it. Don't tell nobody to be no sodomite and you a sodomite. Don't tell nobody not to worship no idols and you around here got candles of Heru in the back house with your stones and your crystals, humming whatnot, playing with tarot cards. Talking about this Mercury retrograde. It ain't no Mercury retrograde, nigga. The moon just out. For real though. The moon affects my moods. No, something wrong with you. You need Jesus. That's what them old people think.
Rather have Jesus than silver.
Silver and gold.
Look.
That brought back memories for him. They said, Mama used to play that every Saturday to clean that house. I used to sing it too. Mama look at me and say, sing that song, baby. They make me cry. I have no idea what you speak of.
That's the time. That's the time, boy.
13 and 50, y'all. Matthew. And he said, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire, there shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Yahushua said unto them, have you understood all these things? They said unto him, yea, Lord. Then he said unto them, therefore every scribe which is instructed into the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder, which bring forth out of his treasure things new and old. The first thing we're going to look at this Greek word for householder and see what we can find in regards to a Hebrew equivalent. The master of the house. So pause. Can y'all think of any verse that talks about a master of a house? Because I got one in my mind. But I want to see what you got in your own. All right, it's going to be in the script. Little script.
That's a parable.
That is a parable. Y'all got something for me on that? What you got? You got something?
You said householder.
Householder means master of the house. So he said every scribe was as instructed in the kingdom. That's why I told him he'll know what he's talking about. He said master of the house. So if you're instructed in the kingdom of heaven, that means you would be just like the man who taught you. Y'all got something? You got something? You can think of something? What about you, Big Dale? Well, that's me. That's middle Dale. Intermediate Dale. Abraham, well, that ain't no bad one. What about you, Michael? You look like you want to answer. You can't think of nothing. Was you thinking for real? Okay. I just want to make sure you ain't lying to me.
I don't know what that.
Well, come over here to Ecclesiastes 12 and 9.
That was the only people that was in the king, right?
To you. Ecclesiastes 12 and 9. He said, moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. He gave good heed, sought out, and set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought to find acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth. The words of the wise are as goads and as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd. Now he said the words of the wise are as goads fastened by the master of assemblies. Now let's look and see what that says. Little master of assemblies. First, we'll look at fasten. That's in the top. That's to fix or establish, right? Noon, tet, nain. I think we mentioned that last night. But of course, you got master of assemblies, which is ball. So you got ba, ayin, and lamar. So what would you say for that? We didn't talk about ball already. See, some people out there don't say Lord. That means ball. Sit down, man. Just means master or servant. That's the same way. That's where the term feudal lord come from. Master of the land. That would get you in the house. Maybe you know the son's teaching if you know the Lord. Because he said the words of the wise are as goads. And they were established those words by the master of assemblies. Y'all know the word for assembly, right? You remember the word for assembly? It's a super. You could think on this one here, you got Aleph, Tet, Pay, and Hay. Aleph, Tet, Pay, and Hay. Huh? You been studying them letters, boy? So. Right, at least you told the truth. You got Aleph, Tet, Pay, and Hay. Now this is a collection. So this is the head of a collection. Well, what we just read about the collection in Matthew 13, did we not? He said he gathered into his vessels good and bad. The good he keep, the bad he toss. You know what I'm saying? You look at collection, you look at you bringing in a what? A harvest or collecting souls. Or like I tell you in Proverbs 11 and 30, he that wins souls is wise. Well, what are you winning them to? The master of assemblies. That's why I say the word of the wise are as gold. So if you a scribe, and who's the scribe that we always gonna mention because they call him scribe by name? Good old Ezra, he was a ready scribe, a skilled technician. Don't shake it. Oh, you trying to say? Oh, you want him to be a skilled technician? He ain't acting. He just a boy. He rambunctious. He said, "Okay." That boy, that like to test his limits, though.
Pay, tet, ain,
and hay. Aleph, tet, pay, and hay. But remember, right, if you a householder, every scribe is as the master of the house. That means he said every scribe which is instructed in the kingdom of heaven, meaning that every scribe who's been instructed in the gospel is like the master of the house. Mm-hmm. No, there ain't no tie in there, son. Oh, I'm tripping. I'm just sitting there because how they got it like a tat on this page.
So what's the true layout, baby?
Double page.
Oh, double pay. Okay, that changes the game.
Indeed, but no, they got it formed like a tat on it. You see it?
Oh, I feel you. Yeah. I think that was just a degree.
Yeah, because I ain't look like I'm looking at the character. No, that's double page. Oh no, they do got. I'm seeing that C right now.
Let me see the word.
Yeah, they just got that joint. They ain't got it wrong, man. Yeah, that's a Samak now. They definitely got a Ted on mine though.
All right, sometimes it's up to you.
Nah, that's just how they be writing that time. I wouldn't have looked at. I ain't even look at all that. I just looked at the character. Period. Cause you know that modern, that Ted and that doggone Samak close together. Yeah, you got an olive, a Samak, a pay, and a hay. So I think she got. Let me see something. See them dogs close together. They definitely drew it real ugly.
Dots, man.
Yeah.
I probably say
You got olive, Samak, pay, and towel.
hey.
I mean, hey. Yeah, he told me because he mentioned.
Hey, I got it open now. I was gonna say the
So you can look at that olive. You got
grab
strength and grab hold to the words of Yahushua, and that's it. Because what is your strength? It's your faith. You would have to have faith to grab hold to the words of Yahushua. If you don't have that faith, you ain't gonna grab hold to it. You're gonna relinquish it. That's why those who see what did Paul say that a steward got to be what? No, not a pastor, a steward. Faithful. He has to be. Hey, children, too much noise. Y'all ain't got nothing to talk about. You looking like you doing something you ain't got no business, are you? So if you don't have the faith, you're not going to grab hold to that word. He can't actually use you to dispense it. You understand? Come on back over here to what is it? Matthew 13. And of course, that word is given from one shepherd. Because who else gonna give it to you? And when we talk about that word, we talk about the gospel. The gospel has to come from him. He the only one who had it. Malia, leave that boy alone. Now I want you to look at not householder. No, that's about it. So now, remember, because we're talking about a good news or a good report makes you prosperous, and how a wholesome tongue is a tree of life. All of these things referring back to what that gospel is, right? Now, our character for the day in Psalms 119 will be Ted, if I'm not mistaken. No, correction. It'll be Sod. It'll be Sod. There ain't nothing wrong with you. Say police done 5 shots at 5 people, 5 kids, including a 9-year-old. Probably lying. 137. Psalms 119 and 1. Little boy, stop playing with that.
Say 119 and 137.
Yep. Bird, you might want to go get to bed. Shalom, man. Psalms 119 and 37. So Sod is the character of the moment. I'm gonna say, get out. Bird, cut it out. Remember, right? That's trail. That's the way. Fish hook, chasing, hunting, journey, to pull towards, a harvest, and laying on one side. Let's begin at Psalms 119 and 137. It says, righteous are you, O Yahuwah, and upright are your judgments. Listen, your testimonies that you have commanded are righteous and very faithful. Now, again, y'all, what is the word for testimony? Who recalls? Adah, right? That's witness. Now, who told you about a witness? I learned it down for you. The book of Job. We talked about it probably a couple months ago. What did Job say? Just go find you the 19th verse in the 16th chapter. Look at it, tell me what it says. My witness is in heaven and my record is on high. What did Yahushua tell you, right? He said, I got greater witness than John. My Father bear witness of me. You understand? Now look at what he's saying, right? Your testimonies that you have commanded are Zadok and Amunah. That's what he said. Give me a second, right? Give me a second. Make sure that's right there, right? Zadok and Amunah. Now we'll deal with Amunah because we've been talking about Amok. This is firmness. It's steadfast. If something is steadfast, what does that mean? It's consistent. It's steady. You can rely, as they say, you can rely on that. Now you got Aleph, you got Meme, you got U, you got Noon, and you have Hey. So he say his testimonies are righteous and reliable. What did Yahushua tell you about himself in Revelation chapter 3? That he was the what? He did tell you that, but he also told you, say it for who? The Amen, the true and faithful witness in the beginning of the creation of Elohim. So he told you right now, I am the testimonies that are righteous and are faithful. Now, when we look at that, and when we look at Sod and what that means, it means what? A trail or a way. So there's a way that has been consecrated for you from the beginning, which is going to lead to a harvest. Because that takes us back to what we were looking at in Matthew chapter 13. And he's only going to gather those that have evidence of being purchased by him. See, I can say, right? What did Paul tell you in Romans 3? He said, what if some do not believe? Do you recall what he said after that?
Did you say it doesn't make the gospel in vain?
No, he said, what if some believe not? Does that make the faith of Elohim of none effect? Elohim says no. And that's what you have to remember. Just because people don't believe does not make the word void. In the 46th chapter of Isaiah, that man said, my word will prosper what I sent it to do. It will not come back to me void. See, because he's not a man that he should lie, nor the son of a man that he should repent. What he said he gonna do, that's exactly what he gonna do. You can take that to the bank. Bump what the world got going on. Because see, the reason why I'm telling you this here, because you can see it. Just getting that notification. Get the door, son. Just because of that notification about them shooting at the police, I'm telling you, they're working you towards a communistic state. You're gonna think you're living in Russia in the 1950s. You're gonna think you're living in China. You're gonna be thinking you in Cuba. You ever notice how that nasty them Cubans talk about Castro and how that junk war? Boy, them people don't care for that junk. That junk oppressive. That junk is oppressive. It ain't what you think it is. Them people get control of you like that, man, you gonna wish you were dead. You know what I'm talking about? Because see, right now you think you free. I told you this last night, and I've always known it for a long time. America was a social experiment. How many of y'all familiar with the Virginia contract? Y'all familiar with that? What you know about the Virginia contract? You've been reading. Well, tell me about it. Tell me what you remember.
All John Park.
All right. You ain't read it. I've been listening to you. Indeed, it's a contract between see, the United States didn't get incorporated to the 1800s. I mean, to an extent, but basically what it was is that the United States never ceased from being under British control. It was a subsidiary of the crown, but it was a social experiment and quote unquote free, because America is not a democracy. Y'all do know that. It's supposed to be a federalistic republic. They don't even operate the country under the tenets of which it was founded. See, that's what a lot of people be talking, and they don't know what they're talking about. America is a federalistic republic. That means that the government technically was supposed to be small and was supposed to represent the interests of the people and to leave the people alone. Like how some people got upset with Trump, talking about why hasn't he made a national mask mandate, because he's not supposed to. That's really supposed to be up to local governments to decide how they want to live. If you go according to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and what it actually says. Because that's really what it's supposed to be. When you deal with what a government don't do this, you're actually dealing with a communistic state, because the government is dictating to the people what they should do and when they should do it. Y'all should already know that the Internal Revenue Service, according to the Constitution, is illegal.
Yep.
It is illegal. It is not a part of the United States government, for one. It's a part of the Federal Reserve, which, according to the Constitution, is illegal as well. Because the only people who's supposed to mint money is Congress, and it's only supposed to be silver and gold. That's what these people all say. You understand? But guess what they know you ain't gonna have time to go do? Go read no law book. Who gonna read constitutional law? Why would you care? You know what you worry about? My rent due on the 1st. When the little boy started walking, I gotta get him some shoes. Hold up. The Cubs playing tomorrow? Boy, I can't wait for football season. So you're not concerned with that. You know what I'm saying? Like how you know how you know you're moving to a communist state in this country? Because they tried to make you give up the electoral college. The electoral college was intended to stop a larger group of people from dictating what would happen to everyone. That was the purpose of that. See, that's why they had Donald Trump come through anyway and have Hillary Clinton win the popular vote. So they planted the seeds when they did that with Al Gore and George Bush to cause you to say, we don't want that anymore, because they don't want it. So they have to create something the way you come up and say you don't want it, and you feel like you came up with that idea yourself. See, there's going to come a time period where you're going to willingly give these people your weapons, and you're going to feel like it was your idea. That's manipulation at its finest. You know what I'm saying? I'm dead serious, man. Like, dead serious, bro. No, I mean, people don't know them. I mean, because I have seen court cases while I was incarcerated. We looked it up. Dudes have beaten the federal government on tax evasion charges because they proved it's not lawful. But it's very few people who have done it, because very few people know how to prove it. Denzel Washington already told you what it is, man, in Training Day. It ain't what you know, it's what you can prove. You don't know the Code of Federal Regulations. You don't know maritime law. You don't know the Uniform Commercial Code. You don't know any of that. Most of you don't even know that these things exist. You know what I'm saying? But it's to understand that this country is not ran how it was intended to be ran. Because you already should know, they got Masons, they got Shriners, they got Kabbalists, and all of these people, and they have them infiltrate levels of government. See, you got to understand something. You don't need a lot of people to overthrow something. So you thinking every judge, every police officer got to be a Mason, no. You only need a handful. You only need a handful. And I know, I've been on this for decades. This is what we've been on. You know what I'm saying? We knew about Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson was in the Rothschild's back pocket. He's the one who came up with signed in the Federal Reserve, because he's the one who signed off on the League of Nations, which was before the United Nations. You know what I'm saying? They tried the League of Nations after World War I. Nobody went for it. So they did World War II. And to bring in the United Nations, they say, drop 2 bombs on these gaps over here, and I guarantee you they'll go for it. And they went for it. Because the Japanese had already surrendered. They didn't have to drop them atomic bombs. They did that for effect. And probably for a satanic ritual if we go back and check them dates. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. That's something totally different. But what I'm telling you is this country is not actually run according to how it was intended to be run. It was a complete social experiment. And when they got tired of the experiment, and they got tired of it very quickly, they infiltrated it. You know, Alexander Hamilton, the man that's on your $10 bill, you know why they got rid of him? You know about Alexander? I know you like that type of stuff. You watch Fox News all the time. He wanted a small government, and he was against a centralized bank, and they killed him. That's why I had a problem with Andrew Jackson, because he didn't want no central bank. That's why they got Kennedy out of here. Shoot, that's probably why they got William McKinley out of here.
And that's why they got Abraham Lincoln out of here too.
Yeah, he served his purpose. He no longer served the purpose. That was part of it, but your role is done. We'll get you out of here. You know what I'm saying? And he died around the time of the Satanic holiday. See, when somebody don't serve their purpose, they'll wait and then take them out for a pagan deity and kill two birds with one stone. You can venerate our God and get you out of here at the same time. And now you can see, like the brother in one video we were looking at pointed out, how they doing these rituals and they don't even care to try to explain them to you no more. They just like, screw it. Nigga coming up dead, they ain't even tell you how these niggas coming up dead. These people ain't even these people sat back and told you that explosion in Beirut happened because of some fireworks and some ammonium nitrate. Boy, I ain't no demolition expert. But I don't know if that 27 tons of ammonium nitrate to bring a mushroom cloud like you seen off no fireworks. Might have did. I don't know. But I don't believe you people, because you put it on the news and gave it to me for mass consumption. So I don't believe it. I'm doubting you off the top, because you already insulted my intelligence and told me 2 planes hit a building and caused them to burn down to the ground. You already told me that. When in 1993, the man tried to blow the building up with some car bombs in a van. But your own science book say jet fuel don't get hot enough to burn steel. That's what your book say. Your books told me ain't no gravity on the moon. But you nigga put a flag in the ground and it stayed. And I'm supposed to believe that. See, I ain't on the conspiracy stuff. That's what you taught me in school. You told me in the 5th grade that ain't no gravity on the moon. That's what you told me. I can't say. I ain't never been there. Come on, man. Your testimonies, they're commanded, they're righteous and very true. Let's look and show that case. John chapter 3, verse 9. Now, see, I just mentioned all that stuff so you can understand that the system doesn't work how, quote unquote, it was intended to work. You know what I'm saying? Ain't supposed to be no taxes at all. And if it was taxes, Congress supposed to take it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't supposed to be no property taxes. Most of the stuff, no sales tax, no nothing. Not on how it was constructed. But if you can infiltrate with wicked people, you can change it to make it to be however you want it to be. But I say, most people don't know what's in the Constitution. Most people don't know what's in, and you know people don't know what's in the script. You know nobody don't know what's in no Constitution. You got to remember, you know, Hammurabi came up and made Babylon completely based off the word. When he came to rule in Babylon, you familiar with Hammurabi, ain't you? You remember Hammurabi from school? You ain't been out of school that long.
I mean, he was at school.
Oh, you was smoking in the girls' room. What? Smoking in the girl. You was smoking a little doobie. Look at Nick. She like, shoot, I smoke a lot of doobie.
Is he lying? Is he lying?
They should say, shoot. Doobies? I was smoking ball bats.
I ain't
John chapter 3, verse 9. Nicodemus answered and said unto him, how can these things be? Yahushua answered and said unto him, are you a master in Yasharal and know not these things? See, he been taught by the master of assemblies. You don't know nothing about being born again? How you don't know nothing about that? He said, truly, truly, I say unto you, we speak that we do know and testify that we have seen, and you receive not our witness. If I've told you earthly things and you believe not, how shall you believe if I tell you of heavenly things? No man have ascended up to Shamahim, but he that come down from Shamahim, and even the Son of Man which is in Shamahim. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up, that whosoever believe on him should not perish but have eternal life. This is a very simple story. Who recalls this story?
Now,
let's look and see. They were being more than disobedient. You know what they were back there doing? They was out there running their mouth. They was out there running their mouth, complaining. Murmur. You like to murmur? Let's look and see, right? Number 21 and 1. But remember, he said his testimonies are what? Righteous and faithful. So we looking at Yahushua say he got to be lifted up like that serpent in the wilderness. So we looking at something, what we're looking at is grace and truth. Again, because this is an example of mercy and truth. Because he showed them mercy right there. He could have let him back. Numbers 21 and 1. When King Arad the Kenite, which dwelt in the south, heard that all Yasharal came by the way of the spies, then he fought against Yasharal and took some of them prisoners. Yasharal vowed a vow unto Yahuwah, if you will indeed deliver this people into my hand, then I will utterly destroy their cities. Yahuwah hearkened to the voice of Yasharal and delivered up the Canaanites and utterly destroyed them of their cities. And he called the name of the place Hormah. Now let's pause. Let's look at see what Hormah means. It means devotion. So now I want you to think, right? I give you the characters for Hormah. Kai, Raj, Mean, Hey, Korma, Kai, Raj, Mean, and Hey. I want you to think, right? He's seen the spies and he said he took them prisoners. Now, what do y'all remember about prisoners? We done talked about prisoners in a long time. Remember, prisoners is Shaveh, right? Somebody who's captive. What you say now? The blood of Mashal.
Mashal separates from life.
Separates who?
To life.
To life? I can dig it. Anybody else? Look, Dale. So Dale out of here. Now he said the blood of Hamashiach separates you unto life. Now remember the city is when you think of devotion, what's some of the first things come to your mind when you hear the word devotion?
I think devotion. I think about
Loyalty.
yeah, about
Loyalty, worship,
Dedication.
little prayer time. Oh, that little, you know you live in old Sunday, Wednesday, Tuesday service, mother. Let me say a little devotion. Say, Mama, always talking about it time to pray. You gotta have your daily devotion, baby. See, you can't spend more time with the world than you do with Jesus. Now, come on. You're like, Mama, I want to go outside and play. You're gonna play with this devotion. That don't be crazy because like this here, the women who do that there is the wildest out the group. She like this here, she got 3 niggas, 2 on the side. That's why they need it.
Yeah, she messing with the preacher too while he's singing.
She may not, but shoot, she got somebody around her. Shoot, a lot of them do. Like this here, I gotta go see Pastor Tony.
for my devotion.
So tell me, I gotta devote myself to the Lord. But what you going around there for? He got a wife. Don't worry about that. He needs my help. He needs me. But look at this here, right? What do you think about that, right? The Canaanites, right? They done grabbed these sons of Yasharal and they done took them prisoners. What comes to your mind when you hear that? Because it's something in my mind. I want to see what kind of yours. Now remember, the city for the Canaanite, it means somebody who's zealous. And what does zealous mean? You got zealous in English, then you got what it means to be zealous in Hebrew. Zealous in Hebrew don't mean the same as zealous in English.
He was saying extreme.
Extreme. Textbook definition of zealous is someone who has extreme zeal. Somebody who has strong, energetic desire to see something succeed. But when you see zeal in the text, it means somebody who's jealous. So when you see it in the Hebrew, you see zeal as somebody who's jealous. Hate. So now you got the king Erod, the hater. Just to keep it simplistic, the hater, which dwelt in the south, heard that Yasharal came by the way of spies, fought against Yasharal, and took him prisoners. I say Yasharal vowed a vow. Now, when we look at vow, it's Nadar and Nadir. Same word, though. Noon, Dalet, and Raj. What's a vow? A thing promised. It's something that you promised. That's why that man told you don't vow no vows if you ain't going to keep it. What people tell you not to do? Don't make promises you can't keep. Look at you. You set the lip out. I made plenty. I promised I was going to go do this here. I said, shoot, I'm tired. I do it tomorrow. They're like, this nigga lied to me. That's you because you say you got coffee and confidence. What type of coffee you got? It's black coffee or sugar with cream? Oh, you like this big half swirl. Look how he looking at you. Oh, man. That boy. But noon, Dalet, and Raj. Because this is a votive offering. That means this is a vow is a voluntary offering. Nobody's moving you to do that. You're voluntary. Who's the first person you should think of who made a voluntary offering? You say Abram? That wasn't volunteered because he was told to do that. That's who you should have thought about with Jephthah. That was a voluntary offering. He said, if you destroy my enemies, the first person come to my house and I give it to Yahuwah for a burnt offering. That was a votive offering. He volunteered that.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking about that because just like with King, like nigga didn't bring his best. Like nigga be volunteering.
Now some people volunteer trash.
Yeah, you feel me? Because you got that option.
Now, I want y'all to understand something. Don't never bring Yahuwah nothing less than your best. Just go on and keep it to the house. If you ain't gonna bring your best, don't bring it at all. And you know why you shouldn't do that? Why you should do that? Because you don't want nobody to bring you no trash gift. See, you know where y'all get that from? Because y'all used to, you gotta be nice to people. You look a nigga dead in the face, nigga, I don't want that. Nigga, if you don't want it for yourself, what you bringing it to me for?
But they'll say you don't appreciate it.
Well, you can say whatever you want to say. And you feeling just like Cain. Your countenance fell. And now you walk. And I'm going to look you dead in the face and say, if you do well, shall you not be accepted? If not, sin lie at the door. That's what I'm going to tell you. Bring me that trash. And you knew it was trash when you brought it. See, it's different if you did your best and it wasn't up to par. Ain't nobody going to knock you for that. You knew it was trash when you brought it. You think Cain ain't know he ain't bring his best? Cain knew what he was bringing. Because that's why he was mad. The nigga don't want to take my stuff. Who you think he is? Now you mad. You want to kill your brother. What your brother do? Yeah, don't bring if you ain't going to bring your best, don't bring nothing at all. See, somebody can hit back and, oh, you ungrateful. I ain't ungrateful. I don't like it. I don't want it. You going to make me take something I don't want?
That's what they was doing in Malachi, bringing them sick, torn, and like animals.
Like straight up. But shoot, but besides that, they were bringing broke, torn, and lame hearts, lodging in front. That's why I say your feast days, they weirdness to me. Y'all niggas eat. Y'all coming around here talking about, except that you don't see my fast. You don't see this, you don't see that. We doing it. I keep the Sabbath. Yeah, I'm thinking about going home and getting drunk when it's over. When the Sabbath over with, so I can go lay corn. Some niggas sit on the Sabbath and think about going to have sex with their wife. The whole time the word come, boy, I'm gonna knock her down when the Sabbath service over with, boy. I can't wait. But it's a nigga somewhere in America doing it right now. Somewhere in the world, that's what somebody praying right now. And then for the super freaky nigga, he think about playing with himself. Oh, right. Straight up. Some niggas think about the drugs they gonna get on. You already, you ain't even, you so far ahead, you on Tuesday. The Sabbath ain't even in it yet. But it's a lot of people like, you know how I know that's the truth? I might be sounding funny with it. Look how dudes act on the Day of Atonement. See, if you got bruise on your page, and you see how them bruise talk, look how they talk on the Day of Atonement. These dudes be complaining about fasting. I can't wait till it's over with. Oh, I'm so hungry. I'm fasting for the Lord. That nigga cap. That's cap. You probably drunk you some water when nobody was looking. Because you doing all that posting because you want somebody to acknowledge you. Look at me. That's why dude take all them pictures of the Sabbath and look at us. We out here, it's a nigga in the back. Boy, I can't wait to leave, boy. This dude next to me, breath stank. I need some liquor. I'm ready to party. Somebody here in the word, they be like, boy, sisters, woo, she looking good today. I'm gonna holler at her in a minute. At the service. Like he thinking about this. Boy, I've been trying to get her about 3 weeks. She seen me too. I put my best Saturday clothes on too. Well, I actually heard a Bruce say that to me. Remember, it was your Sunday best. Now it's your Saturday best. I say, boy, go get in the bed. Just go get in the bed, put the covers over your head. You know what I'm saying? But I'm mentioning that because that's mindset. It's a wrong type of mindset. You're not thinking about what you ought to be thinking about. You're not concerned with what you ought to be concerned with. It means you're not going to bring him your best. You're going to bring him what you think will get. See, that's how some of y'all got through college and high school, just enough to get by. Look how you looking. That was me. That was me. I graduated by the hair of my chin. College or high school. But I mention that because when you get into that habit of doing that when you was in school, just enough to pass, then you come to Yahuwah, now you want to serve Yahuwah just enough to pass, and he don't want that. He want the best. You have to remember who you dealing with. You dealing with the best of the best. Most people ain't used to dealing with the best. So you get mad when somebody demands, not requires, demands the best. Now you looking at who you think he is to want that from me. But who you think you is that you can bring less. That's the question you got to ask. Who you think you is that you could bring less to the creator of all things. That you could just come bring him whatever he's supposed to take. You know what I'm saying? See, he ain't like y'all. When I say y'all, I'm talking about the sons and daughters of Adam. Somebody give you a bad gift, you don't like it, and you talk about how bad the gift is instead of telling them you don't want it. Because you don't want to hurt their feelings. Yahuwah gonna look you dead in your face and say, I don't want that. He say, number one, because I didn't ask you for nothing anyway. He said, when did I ever tell you to come bring me some bulls and some goats? I told you to obey my word. I ain't want that anyway. But since I got to have you bring me that so I don't kill you, then you bring me this right here? And you think I'm supposed to be cool with it? Man, if you don't get that trash out my face, you better come correct. And guess what a lot of people do after that? Walk away. Because now you got to elevate yourself. And you don't want to elevate yourself. Hey, man. It is what it is. It's right, though. Tell you that. It's right. It's dead right. So when they vow that vow, you can look at that in regards to Yahushua vowing the vow, like you mentioned, both volunteering to die. Because he was devoted to who? His father. That's why the name of the place is Kormah, or devotion, because they devoted themselves into being able to free the prisoners, because the prisoners should take you what, right? to free the prisoners who were in the pit where there was no water. Or I came to preach good tidings to the meek, to deliver the captives from the prison, because he's devoted. You understand? Numbers 21 and 4. And they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to compass the land of Edom. And the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. Now look at this here, right? Discouraged is cat saw. They became impatient. Oh, it's the baby.
Hey.
Now look at that, right? Look at what it said, right? Now, what is the way? What's the Hebrew? Who remembers the Hebrew word for the way? The rock. So this is what it said, right? They became impatient because of the way. They became vexed because of the way. Think about that. Now, the characters there are Kuth, Sod, and Raj. Now, how many times, that should take you, the first thing you should think about is the parable of the sower. What did he say? They didn't have any what in they sell? No root. So when persecution and tribulation came because of the word, by and by they were what? Offended. Now it said these people became impatient. What happened when Moses went up on the mountain? What happened? They became what? Impatient. What did Yahushua say about that people in Luke 13 when they say, my master delayed his coming? I'll get drunk and go beat the men and maidservants because you became impatient. You know what I'm talking about? See, this is what their problem was. When we gonna get to the land? Some of y'all was in the car when you were little. Are we there yet? Mommy, when we gonna get there? Shut up and ride. 5 minutes later, we there yet? Now you frustrated.
Hey.
I had mentioned Deuteronomy 8 last night, right? What did he say in Deuteronomy 8? He said he humbled you so he might know what was in your heart. He said he chastened you as a father chastened his son in whom he delights in. See, a lot of people walk away from what you always see people, ain't nobody coming out the sky for us. It's impatience. How many times does the book tell you to wait on Yahuwah? Too many times for you to count. Because nobody wants to wait. That's what people's biggest problem is impatience. See, you read discouraged and you just think, oh, they were impatient. I'm tired. When we gonna get here? That's why a lot of people walk away from the Lord. They get impatient in the way. You fake. Then you see her want to crank up. She don't care either. John 14. Pot. What happened to your face? Oh, he scratched your face. 14 and 1. John 14 and 1. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in Elohim, believe also in me. Oh man, Jit.
I don't think you said what else you
After a while, you think you'd be tired. He don't be tired. That boy's a glutton for punishment. Real. Off my page. But I go back to what I was also talking about. What's written in the beginning. If you believe in Elohim, you will believe in. If you remember, right? He said, "My witness is in heaven, and my record is on high." How you believe the witness of Elohim, but don't believe the person who he was witnessing of? He said, "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you." Guess what? Exodus 15 tells you that same very thing about how he brought you into the place that he purchased. Y'all familiar with the Song of Moses? Who's not familiar with the Song of Moses? I was waiting on you. You throwing up the hand of Canuto sign? That's what you like to do? You been hanging with white boys? I'm gonna give you a pass. Just this time. Exodus 15. Oh, that's funny to you, little Joe? He laughing at something. He find that jump funny too. I'm talking about looking just like it, man.
God,
I'm talking about just like it, man. You can pick it up at 15 and 6. Little Joe. What you laughing at, little Joe? (15 and 6), the book of Exodus. Your right hand, O Yahuwah, is become esteemed in power. Your right hand, O Yahuwah, have dashed in pieces the enemy. Now, see, I didn't grab the dashing of the pieces in the enemy with that, can I? I take you back to John chapter 16, right? When he say the prince of this world is what? Judged. He is dashed in pieces, the pieces of the enemy. And we just read that last night in Psalm 119 about the enemy. And the last enemy to be destroyed is who? Death. So when you look at that, remember Yahushua said, Abba, esteem me with the power that I had with you from the foundation of the world. So this Exodus 15 is pointing you to the Lamb and you coming into New Jerusalem, if you would. He said, in the greatness of your excellency, you have overthrown them that rose up against you. You sent forth your wrath, which consumed them as stubble. And with the blast of your nostrils, the water were gathered together, the flood stood up right as a heap, and the depths were congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil. My lust shall be satisfied upon them. I will draw the sword, my hand shall destroy them. You did blow with your wind, the sea covered them, they sank as lead in many waters. Who is like unto you? Now, where you can read where they say something like that at? Who is like unto you? Who is like a rotten bastard? Who is like unto you, O Yahuwah, among the gods? So guess what? Y'all willing, if you alive and somebody say, who's like unto the beast? Say, not nobody, but I know ain't nobody like unto Yahuwah. That's what you looking rotten bastards in the face and you tell. Yahuwah permit you be alive in that day and you hear somebody say, who is like unto the beast? What you mean? Who's like Yahuwah among the gods? Not them. Don't you dare fix your mouth and speak them lies. They gonna kill you, but you stand firm by it though. They gonna kill you. They gonna kill you. They gonna lock you up one. I don't want you to go in and be like, this nigga punch me. You didn't tell me that was gonna happen. You should have known.
They ain't gonna have that much going to say it. No way.
Ain't too many gonna have enough heart to say it.
Straight up, though.
But you make sure you got the intestinal and testicular fortitude. You let that be known. Say, you lying. You lying. Don't you lie on my food. Say, who is like unto you, O Yahuwah, among the gods? Who is like you, esteemed in Kadash, fearful in praises, doing wonders? You stretch out your right hand, and the earth swallowed them. You in your mercy have led forth the people which you have redeemed, and you have guided them into your strength, unto your Kadash habitation. The people shall hear and be afraid. Sorrow shall take hold on the heavens of Palestine. Then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed. The mighty men of Moab trembling shall take hold upon them. All the inhabitants of Canaan shall melt away. See, that's that good heat. See, he telling you about something that doesn't happen and what's going to happen at the same time. Because Exodus 15, they hadn't ran up on no dukes of Edom or dealt with no Canaanites yet. Fear and dread shall fall upon them by the greatness of your arms, that they shall be still as stone, till your people pass over, O Yahuwah, till your people pass over, which you have purchased. You shall bring them in and plant them in the mountain of your inheritance, in the place, O Yahuwah, which you have made for you to dwell, in the sanctuary, O Yahuwah, your hands have established, and Yahuwah shall reign forever and ever. Now, that's what he's telling you about. When you talk about Exodus 15, he's telling you how he's going to bring you into Jerusalem and live with him forever. The people whom he has purchased, taking us back to what we read in Jeremiah 32. See, he paid for that. See, now we come back to John 14. See, we live in a different time now, right? A lot of women get offended by this. Ooh, that's my wife. I paid for that. You look at that. That's mine. Look at you rolling your eyes. You offended by it just now. He ain't paid for me. I came for free. He hasn't paid for me. That was my baby since I was a little girl. Look how she look. He ain't have to give up damn diamond. That'd have been like the different. Ooh, I need a dowry. But then they come around the corner, she been sold. I can't even get no money. That's why you better protect your daughter. They come around there and she been sold. He can't even, you gotta get the money back. See, it's a different time. You ain't know that. How much you think your daddy could have got for you? Look at it for me. That's how you supposed to feel. A lot of cats, that's how you supposed. But see, we like your attitude. She's about who for me? Shoot. Shoot. You must don't know. You gonna have to bring at least 4 oxen. Straight up, and a vineyard. Shoot, you getting good labor over here. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? You know what was funny though? I seen it do. This is alleged. I don't know how true this is. About a pastor who was getting dowries for women who weren't even his wife, his child. I'm like, I would even pay this nigga. What you mean? I'm giving you a dowry for?
You might have raised them up.
Yeah, I'm gonna raise something up at. Where they dead at? Cause that's who I'm paying.
They ain't got no death on the side.
But they had daddies.
No, no.
Shoot, the daddy was the one talking about it.
Oh.
That's the best. Well.
That boy, that was. Like I said, this is a land because I don't know how true that is. I'm letting you know right now. If that ain't your child, you ain't got no business collecting no child.
But I'm saying, no, probably in the book though, if the nigga get passed.
No, ain't none of it. It's daddy to daddy.
That's what I'm saying. But look, this is
He was saying and they decided
daddy to daddy.
what I'm saying though, if your people have legit, who's gonna get that money?
All I know that's daddy to daddy. Daddy to daddy. Daddy come through. Daddy come through and say, "Hey, sir, I'd like to sit back and have a conversation with you. Your daughter look like she'd be a good fit for my boy over there. You know, I've been training them up real well. I'd like to know what the dowry be for that young woman you got there." Then you say, "Oh, Mabel, I got Mabel around here. How much it's gonna cost me to get Mabel for my son?" You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing to do with that conversation. I don't know what somebody coming to me about what you can get for Mabel. Talk to her daddy. Talk to people. Ain't none of my child. Nigga around here scamming, trying to get something off the top. Now they ain't broke nigga talk. That's mob nigga move. Oh, that's a broken. That's mob stuff. I need a cut. Nickel bag gets sold in the park. I need 10% off every child. Ooh, that's alleged because I don't know how true that is. I hope it ain't true. I'll tell you that. Come on back to John 14.
Yeah,
Indeed, man. Brother Dennis said, can we pray for him? Him and his mama got COVID-19. Young man in Kentucky. No doubt. That's right. And just like Tavon said, as it should be, you see who Yahuwah gave for his daughter. Shoot, he gave you a good husband. Paid with a good dowry. His blood. Good dowry. You know what I'm talking about? And all of you don't know, right? Y'all know what the evidence of the dowry is? You know what a dowry is? Michael, you know what a dowry is? Look how you looking. What you say? No, a dowry is an agreement. It don't necessarily be money. See, none of y'all could have got a dowry because none of y'all were virgins when you got married. Actually, according to the law, you would have been stoned for playing the whore in your father's house. I'm just being honest with you so you understand and know that. This is the reason. Now, of course, this is the reason why Joseph wanted to put Mary away when she came up pregnant. Because he's like, whoa. Because see, what happened is you would have a token of virginity to prove that your hymen hadn't been touched. And then that token would show forth that when your husband finally got you and laid with you, that you were a virgin. Because if the man found you not to be a virgin, then that would be a problem. Your daddy would have to pay that dowry back, a couple other things. But if he lied on you and said you wasn't a virgin, but you were, he got to pay even more money, and he could never divorce you as long as you live. You know what I'm saying? This was in our law. Now, Yahushua played the role of the tokens of virginity, because when he was in that grave and they talk about that linen napkin that was on his head, laid off to the side, that was the gospel example of his token of virginity to prove that he was without sin. Because to be a virgin is to be pure and to be clean. That's really the intent. Because of course we live in a different time. None of us was raised in no righteousness. So of course y'all got hot in the tail, and it wasn't nobody tell you sit your behind down somewhere and moderate your behavior. Some of you climbing out the window, staying out all. Look at you, you staying out all night, running the street. You got pregnant underage, you were running the street. Skipping school. No, I wasn't. I had a baby at 16 and a half. You know what I'm talking about? Skipping school, doing like this here, all types. Look at you shaking your. No, you was skipping school. Because you shaking your head thinking about, I sure was skipping. And she said, not only did I cut class, I skipped. It don't make it right. But I'm mentioning that because the understanding the pure, like how that works. We've already talked about this here. You wouldn't have picked your husband. And you know why you wouldn't have picked your husband? Because you're going to pick the wrong nigga every time. You know what I'm talking about? Because you're going to pick the nigga who make you feel a particular type of way versus the man who's going to actually benefit your life. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to pick the man who's going to moderate you. You're not going to pick the man you're going to pick the man and let you do what you want to do and then complain about how you want a real man. You know what I'm saying? Because I heard a brother say this here. I done told you this before. I believe it too. Don't know woman, because the dude was telling a story about a dude was in the military. His wife said, baby, please don't go to war. So he came back and said, you know what? She said, I thought you were going to war. He was like, no, I'm going to stay here with you. Said 3 weeks later, she left. You know why she left him? Because he put her before his purpose. And y'all know full well y'all don't want no man to put you before his purpose. You say that junk, but you lying. You lying. You don't want him to be like, I got work to do, but I'm going to put that shit aside to come spend time with you. You like, he's a buster in a hole. I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? And y'all know it too, but y'all get on TV and get with your friends and tell them lies though. He don't spend no time with me. Well, how you think the bill's gonna get paid? How you think something gonna get billed? How can he spend time with you and create wars at the same time? He can't do both. And you don't really want him to do both. Now, why am I mentioning that? Because you got a lot of people who come in his word, and these women want them to put them before that word. And see, when you sit back and you look at that, women who don't have no sense are always going to choose that man who will put them before that word, and then both of them compromise and go to hell. Versus having a man who you going to know, oh, he going to hold you accountable. You're going to live how we supposed to live. Because you don't want that. That's boring for you. Because you want to have fun and be delightful and be joyous and tell all your friends about all the exciting things you do. But he's stupid. And you know he's stupid. But you don't care. The reason why I say that, we know this because look at our communities and aspects of it because of that mentality. Because in ancient times, a woman did not choose her husband. Her daddy picked him. Now you got to ask yourself, why was that so? Because you're young, you don't know no better. And like I told y'all before, you can learn to love somebody. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff about you got to be in love, see, that's Western civilization. You can learn to love somebody. They did it in antiquity for millenniums. All them love stories you've been watching on TV, ain't nobody live like that. Ain't nobody live like that. Them romantic comedy, ain't nobody live like that. Not in antiquity. Ain't nobody live like that. That's a new thing, and it's a thing to manipulate people in order to create commerce. That's all it's for. It's just for commerce. Ain't nobody sit back, love at first sight. Where do you think the people get that from? Where did that junk come from? Narcissist. That nigga looked at himself in the water and fell in love with himself, and then they fed you that junk talking about love at first sight. That nigga was in love with himself. He was a homosexual. Seriously though. That's where that term come from. You know, they didn't have, allegedly, they had mirrors back then. But he saw his reflection in the water and fell in love with it and jumped in the water and drowned. Trying to hunch himself. That's where the term narcissist come from. And he was shunning people, men and women. They say he was so beautiful, his best friend wanted his booty. Like, what is stuff? This is no lie, this is Greek mythology. I'm not making this up. Huh? I'm not making this up.
Real, bro.
But what I'm talking about is a lot of the thought processes on love that currently reside in Western civilization are not congruent with what Yahuwah say love is. Man, Jacob ain't know nothing about Rachel. Isaac ain't know nothing about Rebecca. You think he just, she was my best friend and he married her. He say, no, son, go find you a woman after your kinfolk.
Yeah, that was
Another dude to him. Brought around there to him. And he loved her all the time. He know that same thing Jacob was told to do. Go get you a wife for your kinfolk. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no, let me build this and build that. That's new stuff. That's new stuff. That's new stuff. Because at the end of the day, what was it about Yasharal for y'all who try to love? Other than I just had love for him. He just said his love. Remember what he said, right? You were the least of all people. And Yahuwah said his love on you because that's just who he is. You're the one he chose to love. It wasn't no reason for it. I'm just mentioning that for you to understand that the aspect of love is not an emotional reaction. We done went through that what Corinthians tell you love is. It's selflessness. You're not selfish. You can't be selfish and say you love someone. You know what I'm saying? You can't do unseemly things and say you love this person. You can't be proud and say you love this person. Because these things contradict the character of Elohim. It said love is kind, which is one of his attributes, right? Because he said he's compassionate. It said it's long suffering, which means he's slow to anger. When he tell you, when Paul is enumerating what love is in 1 Corinthians 13, all he's doing is telling you what Exodus 34 says. That's all he doing. He's just telling you that. That's why the Apostle John wrote, Elohim is love. See, now my grandma told me this. I can remember. She told me, but I can remember her telling me this before she passed. And she passed when I was 6. And love is an action word. It is a verb. It is not a feeling. It is a verb. It is something that you manifest that is readily shown. And since we looking for feelings, that's why we miss the love of Elohim consistently. Because he's not giving you a feeling. He's going to give you an action and show you that he loves you. That's why he say greater love had no man in this, that a man lay his life down for his friends, and told you that if the love of Elohim reside in you, that you would lay down your life for the brethren. It's no problem. Let me finish John 14. I'm in verse 3. I'm in verse 4. He said, where I go, you know, and the way you know. Thomas said unto him, Lord, we know not whither you go. How can we know the way? Yahushua said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man come unto Abba but by me. If you had known me, you should have known my Abba also. And from henceforth you know him and have seen him. See, you know the difference is what you got it right. Yahuwah was showing you who he was by manifesting his works in heaven and by the works of his his prophets. The second time he said, let me just come down here in the flesh and show it to you. You know what I'm saying? Instead of telling you and showing you through the heavens and showing you through this and showing you through that, just let me animate myself in the flesh and I'm going to just show you to you myself. That's why he said, if you know me, you'd have known my Father also. Because if you would have known that law and them prophets, how you wouldn't have known me? But you know what you were looking for? The wrong thing. You know what you was concerned about? The wrong thing. Because you didn't have it in your mind that he's compassionate, that he's gracious, that he's kind, that he's slow to anger, that he's full of mercy and truth. You wasn't looking at all that. That's why you hear always do somebody who was a man of war, Yeah, he a man of war. He also slow to anger. Why you don't want to talk about that? Because he didn't go to war for the sake of going to war. He went to war because people were sinners and he had to come see them. He wasn't warned just to war. Even with him taking out the Egyptians, it was to take the Egyptians out for their sins on top of what they were doing to Israel. But mainly y'all worshiping idol gods. We don't even want to talk about what they were doing in Egypt because it's children in the room. And it ain't right.
That's not right.
Ain't right.
Men wearing makeup.
Man, we going past the men wearing makeup.
No, a lot of vows.
But we going way past men wearing makeup.
Yeah, I know.
The witchcraft and the sorcery, the sex magic, and all this other stuff they had going on in Egypt, it's stomach turning. That's why dudes always talking about this modern day Egypt because they named cities Memphis and got pyramids over here. Well, it's way past that. There's Egypt and Babylon put together because they worship the same gods and do the same rites and rituals. Hey, Lindsay. Where we was at, man? Numbers 21. Is that Lizzie? 21. We do it Exodus 15. I'll read verse 4 again. What did Yahushua tell you about in Matthew 24? That he that does what to the end? Endure, which means that you have to have patience in serving Elohim. Remember how we read that in James? How I say Job is an example of having patience and the mercy and pity of Yahuwah. Look at what these people went to do. Verse 4, number 21. And they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to compass the land of Edom. And the soul of the people were much impatient because of the way. The people spake against Elohim and against Moses. Wherefore have you brought us up out of Mizraim to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loathe this light bread. That's been a while since we talked about this here. So who did they do? They ended up speaking against the Most High and his son. And guess what they said they're going to be doing during the time of the beast? What are they going to be doing? Blaspheming the tabernacle in heaven. They say, all we got is this light bread. I'm going to hit you this word for light. It's kel okal. It means it's worthless. It's contemptible. Two kufs, two lamars. That's how you spell it. They say it's worthless bread, or they find it contemptible. Remember that verse we read in Isaiah chapter 8? Let's look at that verse we read in Isaiah chapter 8, right? About 8:20. Might be 8:23, actually. I'm going to see who remember this here. Because I keep going back to this verse because I want it to be in your head. 8:20 is sufficient. You can pick it up at 8:18, though. Grandma. Come here. Come here, Grandma. Come here, Grandma. What you over there crying for? You want your mommy? Yeah. Well, your mommy ain't got no room for you. So you're going to have to go sit back in your chair and just wait. Tuck your lip in, Grandma. Unfold your arm. Why all your children stick their lip out? That's crazy because all of them, I call Yana to she shot her lip out. All the children stick their lip out. See, she got you with your hood girl hat on. That's probably why you got your lip out. You okay? 8:18, the book of Isaiah. Behold, I and the sons whom you have given me are for signs and for wonders in Yasharal, from Yahuwah of hosts, which dwell in Mount Zion. And when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, unto wizards that peep and that mutter, should not a people seek unto their Elohim for the living to the dead? To the Torah and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it's because there is no light in them. They shall pass through it and hardly be sad and hungry, and it shall come to pass when they shall be hungry, they shall fret themselves and curse their king and their Elohim and look upward. And that's what they're doing in Numbers. They got hungry and they cursed their king and their Elohim. Moses was a king. They tell you that in Deuteronomy 33. Now remember what Bested is to be stubborn, if you recall. Why am I mentioning that? But guess what? Everybody talking about mark of the beast this and mark of the beast that, but at the end of the day, when people get hungry, they're going to curse their Elohim and their king. And you're going to say, I don't want this bread. It's contemptible. It's worthless. But we know man don't live by bread alone, but every word that proceeds out the mouth of Yahuwah do man live. And what did Yahushua tell you for? He was the man that come down from heaven. So when you come with that gospel, people going to look at that and say, that's worthless bread. I don't want that. Because I'm coming impatient in the way by what's going on around me. I don't want that. Them fairy tale, that mind control. This bread is worthless to me. Or as he said in Malachi, what profit is it that we have mourned before Yahuwah of hosts and served the living Elohim? What gain do I get from that? They're gonna be like Esau. They're gonna lose their birthright over a morsel of meat. That's what's gonna happen. And they're gonna cry and cry, and there ain't gonna be no room for repentance when it come time to get in that furnace, where the worm dies not and the fire shall not be quenched. But that's what them dudes get talking about. Hell ain't real. I said hell good and real. It mean the grave, dummy. So now you mistaken. Speak on what you know and know what you speak. Period. Man, I'm telling you something, man. People know certain stuff that's in the text, but I'm talking about nuance and detail. Oh, they don't know. Now, where does the story of hell under the ground come from? She just told you, Hades. But it come even before Hades. I forget the Egyptian god of the underworld name. It escapes me right now. Set wasn't the Egyptian god of the underworld. Hold on, I get it. I'm gonna get it. It might have been Osiris.
No, Osiris. I thought Osiris was the one that was the Egyptian god of the heavens.
That's right. That's right. Brother Jennings and Sarandis hit it. Anubis, the jackal head dog. The jackal head dog. There it is, the Egyptian god of the dead. There you go, Anubis. Let's read a little bit about this jackal head, wolf head bastard. He's depicted as a canine with a man's head, or a man with a canine head. This is what he looked like, y'all. That's probably who George Clinton was singing about. He's talking about Atomic Dog. That's probably who he was singing about. He's the god of mummification and embalming, the afterlife, cemeteries, tombs, and the underworld. Also, his parents are Nephis, Set, Osiris, or Ra. His consort is Anuput. His Greek equivalent is Hades or Hermes Trismegistus. You know about Hermes. You know about Hermes a lot. You know how you know about Hermes? Because you've been listening to Kyrie Irving. He's been telling you about Hermes. That's his god. And he done said that openly, that he's a hermeticist. That's not no allegedly that. He done said that out his mouth. He's a hermeticist. Yes, Anubis, that's the jackal head dog. That's right. He the one who weighed the scale of the heart to see where you go.
Last nigga, when you get out the book,
you got to go see the dog. I want to say right here. He was replaced by Osiris in his role. Anubis was also an embalmer. By the Middle Kingdom, he was replaced by Osiris, or Asar, in his role as the Lord of the Underworld. One of his prominent roles was a god who ushered souls into the afterlife. He attended the weighing scale, and during the weighing of the heart, it was determined whether a soul would be allowed to enter into the realm of the dead. This is pure another fool. Because guess what he just tried to be? I give a man according to his words. Oh yeah, they show him in Hades all the time. He was Anubis. He was showing you he was Anubis. Dog catcher. Huh? George Clinton been telling you, dog catcher. He showed you that's what he was into on all his album covers. Same way that Earth, Wind, and Fire showed you that they was into.
Hold on, you said Earth, Wind, and Fire was into dog worship. Boy, if you don't talk about that, it's dog worship.
You ever seen that
Man, let me tell you something, bro. I keep telling you, because I be getting on him about this here, right? He was on the phone because he's a fanboy.
No, I was just asking.
No.
I'm just asking.
Bro, because we just had this conversation with you about The Rock. You a fanboy.
No, you're a fanboy, dog.
You a fanboy. He witnessed. Boy, that boy was taking up for The Rock like he know that man personally. What?
No, Chris Bosh.
Don't even know Chris Bosh. He know of Chris. I used to see him at the basketball court. Like that was your homeboy.
You close now, nigga.
That nigga said, bro, this nigga like The Rock wasn't on steroids. This nigga's a professional wrestler.
No, that's because of that contract that Vince McMahon made every.
See?
There you go.
I just got one question for you, son. Answer this for me. Vince McMahon, Dwayne Johnson, are they sinners?
Yeah.
So that means they could do anything at any time, yes or no?
Yeah.
So stop taking up for people you don't know who hate your God to your face. Don't you know Vince McMahon mocks you who are on a regular basis? This man did a whole storyline and actually came out in the ring cussing you who out. But the man had enough gall and audacity to try to crucify his daughter on a fake cross. Well, Vince McMahon has actually done storylines about dead people. The nigga just did a storyline about Jeff Hardy, who's a drug addict and an alcoholic who in rehab. And these niggas agreed to this junk. Why to look that crack dead in their face? Not me. You're going to disrespect and shame somebody else. But guess what? You know why they do it? Because people got your soul and your booty hole. You going to get out there and do it. And when I say booty hole, not in a sexual fashion, I own your behind. I done paid for it. Can be. Depending on who you're dealing with. Can be. But they own you, boy. I keep telling you that. If I give you a contract and I'm paying you X amount of dollars, I own you. You're going to do what I say do. When I say do it. You think they handing over $20 million to somebody to let them go rogue? Come on, bro. Got to come to the Christmas party. Some companies, it's mandatory. Got to come to the Christmas party and be a part of Secret Santa. Got to do it. You like to say, I don't celebrate that. You're going to celebrate it today, black man, and you're going to like it. I served you who? You're going to serve me today, son. You want that $100,000 bonus? You want that check? And guess what a lot of dudes do? Compromise. That man owe your soul and your booty hole. He done paid for you. Understand? He who plays the tune tells you when to dance. You know what I'm saying? That's why you play your own tune. You dance when you feel like it. We don't even talk. We don't leave Pied Piper where he at. Old green man. Leave the green man right where he at. You know about the green man? You know about the green man? The green man is Osiris or Pan or who you would call the Baphomet, the god of vegetation. But you know him as R. Kelly because R. Kelly told you he was the Pied Piper. He told you he was Pan. See, ain't nobody still. We done talk about it. As a kid, I already knew who Pan was. So when I seen that nigga said he was the Pied Piper, I stopped listening to that music then. I'm like, oh, this nigga sick. You know what I'm saying? Because I was into that. I already knew. Remember, he know because that junk's hilarious. Because Dave Chappelle did it on the show, boy. That junk was funny. I ain't gonna lie to you. That nigga popped up to about he was the goat dog. Yes, he's actually a mythological character. So he would play the pan flute. And the pan flute would attract the kids. And then he would devour the kids. But when you actually look at mythology, it wasn't really devouring the kids. He would sodomize the children.
In the nursery rhyme, he led the children out of the house
into the woods.
And then that's where you get Peter Pan.
That's where you get. I never want to grow up.
Out of the houses to the.
And it's really about it, but it's about pedophilia. And it's really all about Osiris, the original Green Man, who the Incredible Hulk is probably patterned after Osiris. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know Osiris. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I knew that as a kid. So when this nigga said he the Pied Piper R&B, he was telling you, I'm calling the kids out so I can devour them.
I ain't know about Pan, but I knew about the nursery rhyme.
You know what I mean? See, I was into what you call that? What's that? Humanities and all them myths. I see, I read all that junk, so I already knew what he was on. I'm like, oh, this nigga sick. You know what I'm saying? Oh, cuz is sick. I'm good. I don't want, because all I know is I hear your songs and I hear you say it's the Pied Piper. I'm already knowing. I know what you talking about, cuz. I don't want to listen to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we already know you okay. You be like, well, what's the difference? Niggas in their rhymes talking about shooting people, doing that, and the third. And that junk ain't cool. But when you singing about raping little kids, I just got to draw the line right
Ain't no sin.
A sin is a sin, but I'm talking about, I'm still out here in these streets, so I'm like this here. I gotta draw the line somewhere. Because I know y'all just talking. Y'all ain't gonna bust a grape in the fruit factory. This nigga touch a little girl. He's serious. He means it. He's looking for a little girl to pee on. That's why people were saying that with Michael Jackson, like he had to be on because you named your house Never Neverland. And that was for Pan. It was in the middle of the woods. And this nigga had a Lester Crowley on an album cover.
And all your allegations revolve
around touching kids.
Kids, that be the thing. R. Kelly had some drug charges and some, you feel me, on some wild tip charges. You brought a gun here, there. All your charges, you messing with little children. Then you saying you the pilot. You guilty. You guilty.
See, now the thing is right, it goes twofold. They may or may not have been doing it, though R. Kelly has admitted to doing it. Or they have these men walk out certain aspects of mythological stories. You know what I'm saying? Whether they know they doing it or whether they don't know they doing it. Because that's what they really want. I've been telling y'all that for a long time. Every movie, for the most part, is the retelling of an ancient mythological story for the most part. Remember what he told you in Isaiah, Jeremiah, have a nation change their gods? These people have never stopped worshiping their deities. They've never stopped. Just like I told you the other day with that explosion in Beirut. When stuff happens, you should just look at it from the aspect of antiquity. How does this relate to antiquity when there's an event happening? That was a whole fire festival for Pan. For the mother goddess and Pan. Because it literally said it was for Pan. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, right before that, Beyonce come out, she's Hathor, she the mother goddess, all this type of stuff, they do it in your face. And that's the part I be tripping on, how these women be going for Beyonce. If that ain't witchcraft, I don't know what is.
Beyonce,
nigga be like, I'll block you about Beyonce. Nigga, I'll screw that hoe. I'll tell her that to you, screw that hoe. What you gonna do about it? Well, they better go and get their killer together then. Because guess what? You're going to be in hell with her, and you can ring the alarm right down there with her. Come on to number 21. They're going to ring that, they're going to ring that alarm, and you're going to be right this here. Who? Guess what he said you're going to be doing? You're going to abhor them. Because Beyonce on the first class ticket. She done did too many music videos portraying the mother goddess. That hoe on the first class ticket. Her husband ain't too far behind. Shit, Jay-Z on one thing, but I think Beyonce on a whole nother level. Her, she done been 3 different deities.
Shoot, Beyonce was Shiva at one point too. The Hindu goddess. She did a.
Oh, we know he's stamping. That's the handler. No, don't get me wrong. What I'm talking about is we know that nigga that wicked. I'm talking about she's on another level because she's been bold enough to play 4 or 5 different female goddesses in public.
You ain't seen them when she
openly. I don't follow that hoe. I remember when she did a super. What that was? But I remember one year, right? We were watching. Me and our son, we were watching the Super Bowl when the Ravens and the 49ers played, and I seen it. I said, "Oh no!" I said, "I'm finna go to the back. I'm not watching this. This ain't right." I ain't know what deity it was. I had to look it up later on. I said, "But this right here, this whole evil." You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I said, "Oh no, I ain't watching this here. This ain't right. This don't settle with my soul."
I think
when the Ravens and the 49ers, like 2012, 2013, the game when the lights went out, when Kaepernick took it to the Super Bowl. That performance she did, I forgot what deity she wore. But I said, "Oh no, I ain't watching this."
Somebody said that
we were watching it on the laptop. We had no TV in the house. Oh no, I watched it.
Now, there's somebody said like coming off the beginning of a shame ritual. Kaepernick.
Oh no, because Kaepernick ain't do that until 3 years later. You know what I'm saying? That nigga was shamed the day he was born. Shame the day he was born. He knew he was gonna be a whole nigga today. We already that's why people gave away. It's a whole nigga. We got to get him away.
Right.
But is it a lot of?
Boy, that's how you look.
No.
No, not the whole nigga is not a lead. The part with his parents is a lead.
Well, you allowed it to go down.
Facts. He's a coward. Playing people out. I was like, he kneeled for us. He ain't did nothing for you. First thing you know, you already know how I feel about that kneeling. That's a sign of reverence. They got mad at the basketball player and then they mocked him because he pulled his knee up. Because that man's, but he said he wasn't kneeling because he said Jesus wouldn't want him to. Regardless of what he believed in, he was right though. Lord wouldn't want you to kneel before no man but him. Next day, guess what? But guess what? Nigga look at it. Like they say, man, who nigga do what it do? Let me get that boy from around these wicked people.
That's how I look at that boy. I was like, see, you took a stand and you said you wanted to do it. Now he gonna make you walk it out.
He gonna make you walk it out. He gonna make you walk it out. Get on from around here. They look at it. He broke his knee. Hey, one thing for certain, two things for sure. What he say? In the middle of temptation, he make an exit.
Definitely.
Let me tell your ACL, get you up out of here. Get you up out of here, son.
You creep back around there now.
Man say, I ain't wearing no Black Lives Matter shirt. He wasn't wrong. Them lesbians and haters of men. That boy wasn't wrong. Shoot, Ron Artest said the same thing. He said, what I look like kneeling. That's giving reverence. You lying to me. I bet nobody wouldn't have had nothing to say if Ron Artest was still playing and he did it.
Ron Artest was thrown out.
He wasn't thrown off. That boy from Queensbridge. That boy from the projects. Run up on him if you want to. That was it's better, but I ain't calling that nigga that. I'm calling. I'm gonna name him Ron Artest. I'm gonna call him Ron Artest. He did. That boy wild, man. That's a project boy. Of course. No, because he legally changed his name to that.
To World Peace.
No, the World Peace.
Where you been?
We just said that. Well, you can't put a nickname on a jersey, son.
That boy's World Peace on his jersey.
He really changed his name to Ocho Cinco when he had his name like that on the back of his jersey. Boy, do that jump for publicity, get some money, man. But don't you know, as an athlete, you only got a short shelf time? You gotta get what you can get while the getting is good. And get what Mr. Charlie gonna do when you can't play no more? Toss you away like an old toy. People don't care nothing about you, boy.
Oh, look sad, bro.
21 and 7, man. 21 and 6, actually. But the people don't care nothing about you. He said, Yahuwah sent fiery serpents among the people. They bit the people, and much people of Yasharal died. See, now, Paul, you know how this tied to the end? Tied to them plagues in Revelation, ain't it? Instead of fiery serpents, what fiery animal or insect he gonna send? A locust, son. Scorpions. Scorpions. Remember that he told the end from the beginning and the beginning from the end.
Doing what?
Therefore, the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned. We have spoken against Yahuwah and against you. Pray unto Yahuwah that he take away the serpents from us. Moses prayed for the people. Yahuwah said unto Moses, make you a fiery serpent and set it upon a pole. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he look upon it, shall live. Moses made a serpent of brass and put it upon the pole. And it came to pass that if the serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. Let's look at pole. Y'all remember what the word for pole is? Nas. Y'all remember that word? It's N-E-C, but it's Nas. Something that's lifted up, a standard, a pole. You got noon and samach. You can go ahead. That's simple though.
Grab hold of life.
Grab hold of life, man. Grab hold of life, hold it tight. You might get through the night. Because we get through the night, we talking about getting through darkness. Now come over here to Proverbs 23. Let me see if you remember. See if you remember this here in Proverbs 23. I'm just taking a brief look because I need to see who remember. We done already done it recently and in the past. Proverbs chapter 23. Where am I? Where's my verse at? Oh, I'm at 22. That's why we got a problem. 23 I pick it up at 25 on the house because somebody might just need to hear that one more time. Matter of fact, make it 22. Just on the strength. Huh? On the strength? On the strength. He say, hearken unto your father that begat you, and despise not your mother when she is old. Look here, right? That just don't stop when you get grown. Hopefully your daddy got some sense. When he tell you, son, you ought to listen. Everybody daddy ain't got no sense. But even a fool can give you some wisdom every now and then. Buy the truth and sell it not, also wisdom, instruction, and understanding. The father of the righteous shall greatly rejoice. He that beget a wise child shall have joy of him. Your father and your mother shall be glad, and she that bear you shall rejoice. See, I'm gonna tell you something. Some of you women know when your child like this here, right? See, little Mike don't make Lee rejoice sometimes. She irks his soul because he don't listen. See, I'm using him as a real life example. See, when you don't listen, see that make your mama feel bad. Also say it make your daddy feel bad, but it make your mama feel even worse than him. Because your daddy be like, I just work on the others. Sometimes that's what you got to do. Sometimes you just like, I just got to work with the others. I ain't do nothing with it. Look how you look. Yeah, I'm talking about you because you don't listen. It ain't cool either. You need to learn how to listen. Or your life gonna be hard if this society go any longer. If it go any longer, you're gonna be around here shoot. They're taking all the jobs, so you might not even have a job. You ain't gonna be able to bag groceries at 33. You want to be working at Burger King because you don't listen, because you get fired from every job you got, because you think you can go in there and do what you want to do. Now that ain't what you want, because that's the pathway you're heading down because you don't listen. You're gonna be having to sleep on people's couches, and next thing you know, you ain't even gonna be in a van down by the river. You're just gonna be down by the river with a t-shirt, no blanket. Talking about, can you give me some money? I'm hungry. Better learn how to listen. Don't live your life like that. See, we tell you this stuff because you like it. Forget what your daddy gonna start doing. He's gonna tell your son, get out my house. See, he ain't gonna put up with that junk when you get 15, 16, 17 years old. Yeah, look at him. He telling you, look at it. He gonna put you right out his house. You don't want to listen? He said, I ain't gonna put up with this, son. You can get out. You want your daddy to put you out of the house? Then what you need to start doing? Yeah, because I wouldn't let you stay in my house if you ain't listening to what I told you to do. Clearly, you grown enough to do what you want to do. You need to go live somewhere else. And that's what Yahuwah gonna do. He gonna put you right out of the house. You want Yahuwah to put you out of the house? I wouldn't think you would. You smarter than that. I know it. I know you your whole life. You see, you act like you don't know what's going on, but you know what's going on. You way smarter than what you try to put on to be. You need to cut it out. Now you got your head down. Pick your head up, son. You're a man. You got no business dropping your head, boy. Keep your chin up tall, boy. Just make better decisions. My son, give me your heart. Let your eyes observe my way. Remember, we talked about that before, right? Give Yahuwah your heart and pay attention to how he operates. He say, for a whore is a deep pit, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. She lie also in wait as for prey, and increase the transgressors among men. Now, that's a literal woman, but then you got that whore of Babylon. You better sit back and pay attention. Because see, she'll try to catch you with her culture, with her ways. Look appealing to you. Hey, you around here demanding bugles. That's not how you get food. Listen what it said. Who have woe? What does woe mean? Who have sorrow? Who have contentions? Who have battling? Who have wounds without cause? Who have redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine. They that go to seek mixed wine. But we didn't talk about that before. That's Yahushua. Did he not have destruction? Did he not have sorrow? Did they not contend with him? Did he not have wounds without a cause? What did he tell you in John 15? They hated him without a what? All he was telling you what Psalm 65 said. It's all the same word. And when did all that happen to him? When he drank that wine, didn't he? Keep on rolling with it, right? He said, look not upon the wine when it is red, when it gives its color in the cup, when it moves itself aright. At the last, it bite like a serpent and sting like an adder. Well, what was that serpent that bit it? You should remember that from Genesis 49. You remember that from Genesis? Well, you don't. You wasn't here for that. What is? How does it describe Dan in the 49th chapter of Genesis? I'll let you look that up for yourself. I ain't telling you the verse. Genesis 49 about Dan. Tell me what Genesis 49 say about Dan. You ain't turning no page.
Oh, man. Dan is the truth.
Dan.
Adler in the past.
He's an adder in the past. Say Dan will judge himself as one of the 12 tribes of Yasharal. He's a serpent, by the way.
That's true.
Ain't that what it say? See, some people see Dan as a, what does Dan mean?
Good.
Judge. So he say the judge is a serpent. So guess what? What happened? That's talking about Judas. It say Judas became a serpent, by the way. Did he not bite it? Now look at what it's sitting here telling you, right? At the last, it bite like a serpent and sting like an adder. Well, what was he stung with? He said, death, where's your sting? Did he not get stung with death? He just overcame it. Praise the Lord for that. Listen what it say right here in Proverbs 23. Your eyes shall behold strange women, and your heart shall utter perverse things. And yea, you shall be as he that lie down in the midst of the sea, or he as that lie upon the top of a mast. They have stricken me, you shall say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again. He say, when will I get up? I'll do it again. Now, you know if it's saying at the top of a mast, that's the top of a pole, or the top of the tree, or the top of the stake, or the crucifixion. Now, to see, that goes right back to what he said, because he said, when you see the Son of Man, lift it up. Now, remember, let's come back to Psalms 119. Joy, what are you doing? What is that on your face? What is that on your face? Muffin Man. Muffin Man. Muffin Man. Let me see where we stopped at. Dang. We stopped at verse 138 of Psalms 119. Now, all of that is dealing with the mercy and truth. We went through all that for you to look at what? How his testimonies are righteous and very faithful. Because we just looked at two places for a testimony. The testimony in what? Numbers 21. Testimony and we're just looking at in Proverbs 23 about him being lifted up. Now, Proverbs Numbers 21 told you about the people getting bit by a serpent. That correlates to us getting bit by sin. It also takes you to Isaiah 45 when he say, look unto me, all you ends of the earth, and be saved. See, most people don't want to be delivered. You know what I'm talking about? You know, and like I said, you know why most people don't want to be delivered? Because they feel like the word will restrict them. Because people really want to do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Now, and I'll tell you this before, I ain't said it in a while. See, you can't come to Elohim and look at what you can't do. You got to look at what you can do.
Yep.
So you steady looking at what you can't do, you going to hell. Because your mind in the wrong place. That's why you're going. It's not just like, oh, you're going, because you're not going to be able to serve him effectively. Because you're I can't do this, I can't do that. That's murmuring and complaining. You're going to find him to be contemptible and worthless like you've seen in the wilderness. That's why I say that. If you had a mind like Yahushua, son of Nun, and Caleb had, and they looked at, oh, these people are meat for us. They looked at what they could do and not the adversity that was in front of them, like the land is like this and these are giants. They have an everlasting name and they got in the land. That's the difference of how you view things. His forth is coming to serve you. Because if you look at what you can't do, then you done already forgot that he that commits sin is the servant of sin, and the servant abide not in the house forever. If the Son shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. You started looking at, I can't do this and can't do that, when you're free from death. So what? So you mean to tell me them small sacrifices that you got to make equate to a man who sacrificed his life? Come on, man. That y'all don't even equate the stuff that we be complaining about that you got to give up. And this man gave up not only his life, his whole place in heaven. What have you sacrificed for Elohim that even equals our way? What you gave up? Because you had to give up a good time? Because you had to give up pleasures? because you had to give up the world. That man walked away from his place and name in heaven to be beaten and tortured and impaled, so you wouldn't die and go to hell. And then you have the utter audacity, the unmitigated gall to complain. Come on, man. Like, you have to really sit back and look at it in that aspect. This man was at the right hand of the Father from the foundation of the world. He created the world. He created you. You understand that? He did all of that. This man was the son of Elohim in heaven and was the heir to everything that is Elohim, and said, I will come down from heaven, manifest myself in the flesh to be beaten from a rebellious generation that provokes me continually to my face. That's what he said now, didn't it? He said, I spread my hands all the day to a gainsaying people who provoke me continually to my face, that choose their own ways, which ain't good. How you think you smarter than the person who made you? The same way you think you smarter than your parents who raised you. You know what I'm saying? You can't live your life like that. See, that's what America do for you. It causes you to have no respect for seniority, no respect for authority or order or nothing, and feel like I'm better, so I don't gotta listen to you. And I don't care what sacrifice. Some of you don't even know the sacrifices your parents made for you as a child. You didn't even know it when you was a child. You knew it when you got grown. Maybe you had a better, more respect for them to know of what they did. Some of you may not care. Shoot, don't matter to me, nigga. I got picked on because I ain't had this, that, and the third. You should have made more money, you know, good bastard Jew. I hope somebody piss on your good foot. Because that's just disrespect. That's why I ain't tell you to stop, because you earned that one.
Quiet.
Put that in the trash while you're at it. No, I really want you to sit back and think about that. Like, you really have to look at that. All you're doing, he told you to take up your stake and follow him. And whosoever doesn't take up their stake is not worthy of him. At the end of the day, matter of fact, come to Hebrews 12 and what he said. Just come to Hebrews 12 and what he said. You heard your daddy calling you, boy. You're going to be the next one on the list. Don't be the next one on the list. Hebrews 12 and 1. Remember we talked, y'all remember when we went over that? And he made that, you will tell you if you commit sin, he'll have to be what? Contrary to you. This man went against his own self for you. You remember when we looked at it? It was a long time ago. I'm going to read it in a second. Wherefore, seeing we're also compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and sin which do easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. Looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the stake, despised the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Elohim. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest you be wearied and faint in your mind. Now sit back and consider. Was he a sinner? Was he rebellious? So he went against himself. So if he can go against himself, you ain't got no business falling out. That's why he said what? You have not yet resisted under blood, striving against sin. Ain't near one of us in here had to shed no blood to not sin. Ain't none, because where would his sin have been where he was resisting to not sin by shedding blood? Where was that at where he could have sinned at? When they came and got him. Because he had already prayed for the cup to pass. What if he would have went along with Peter and went to war with him? Would there not have been sin? Because all we looking at is sin is, oh, he ain't eat no pork, he ain't do this here. Sin is when you don't do what Yahuwah say. Or more specifically, what Paul wrote in Romans 14 and 23, anything that is not of faith is sin. If you don't do it according to faith, it's transgression as far as Yahuwah is concerned. And we ain't talking about, oh, let me step out on faith and start this business. See, that's Christian talk. That's not word talk. Faith is serving Elohim, knowing that you'll get the full reward. If it's not done out of faith, it's sin as far as he's concerned. You might as well not do it at all. because you're not going to get nothing. You serving him in vain. See, at the end of the day, the duty is not just to show up. The duty is to get the reward. Make your election sure, as Peter once said. Let's finish this Psalms 119 so we can call this an afternoon. Look at verse 139 of Psalms 119. He said, my zeal have consumed me because my enemies have forgotten your words. Now let's take a look. Psalms 50 for enemies forgetting words. Then Psalm 69. Psalms 50, what it is? 50 and 17. 50 and 16, actually. He said, but unto the wicked Elohim say, what have you to do to declare my statutes, that you should take my covenant in your mouth, seeing you hate instruction and cast my words behind you? When you saw a thief, then you consented with him and have been partakers with adulterers. You give your mouth to evil and your tongue frame deceit. Now y'all should remember why he said they consented with a thief. Who remembers? You remember? You remember? That why does it say they consented with a thief? That's Judas. Remember, it told you Judas was a what? So it's telling you about the scribes and the Pharisees. They said that they cast his words behind their back. We don't have to go in that script to go see that. You can read Matthew 15 and see they cast his words behind their back. You can see in Matthew 22 they cast his words behind their back. You can definitely see in Matthew 26 and 27 that they cast that man's words behind their back. Because what it say right here in Psalm 119, what we just read, it said, say, my zeal have consumed me because your enemies have forgotten your words. Now let's look at that word zeal. It's kana, it's ardor, it's zeal, it's jealousy. Characters you have there are Kuf, Noon, Aleph, and Hay. Now, why is that jealousy? Psalm 69. Let's look at what it says. Well, all cranked up today, don't it? Psalm 69. You can pick it up at verse 1. Save me, O Elohim, for the waters are coming to my soul. I sink in a deep mire where there is no standing. I come into the deep waters where the floods overflow me. I am weary of my crying. My throat is dry. My eyes fail while I wait for my Elohim. They that hate me with a cause are more than the hairs of my head. That they would destroy me, being enemies wrongfully, are mighty. Then I restore that which I took not away. Now again, this going right back to what we read in when we were looking at I think Kuf last night, or whichever letter it was. He said, oh Elohim, you know my foolishness. My sins are not hid from you. Let them not wait on you. Let not them that wait on you, O Yahuwah Elohim of hosts, be ashamed for my sake. Let not those that seek you be confounded for my sake, O Elohim of Yasharal. Because for your sake I have borne reproach, and shame have covered my face. I become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's sons. That's another verse for the apostles hitting it on it. For the zeal of your house have eaten me up, and the reproaches of them that reproach you are fallen upon me. Now I said for the zeal of his house that's eating him up, or the jealousy of his house. Now, of course, you know that came through when it said the apostles remember that script when what happened with the Lord. What caused the apostles to remember that? What did Yahushua do that caused the apostles to remember that?
When you said, didn't he tell him that he was that when he said, where I go, you can't go?
I don't know. That's John 2 when he caught him in there selling in the temple and he whooped them people. And they said the apostles had remembered that it was written, the zeal of your house have eaten me up. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff is all the same word, and it's bearing witness to this man that you can know that he the Son of God. And if you know he the Son of God, then you could place your hope in him, knowing that there's everlasting life. Because that zeal consumed, because we already know the enemies forgot his words, because you already know from the law they ain't had no business selling that stuff in there and why they had it. Why did the people forget his words? Because they were sinning, they were unbelieving and disobedient. Come on back to Psalm 119. We in verse 140. He said, your word is very pure, therefore your servant loveth. Now remember what pure is, that's Sarah, remember, it's tested. It's refined. He said, therefore your servant loveth. Remember, right? He said, you loving Yahusha whom you have not seen. You already know Yahusha done been tested. And you love him. You ain't never seen him though. Verse 141, I'm small and despised, yet do I not forget your precepts. See, that goes back to the other thing what I was talking about, like when them people go to worship in the feast and they say who is like unto the feast, you're going to have to understand that you're going to be small, which is Sair, which is to be insignificant, and you will be hated, which is Mazah, held in contempt and disdain. But you ain't going to forget that word. You're going to forget the word because you're insignificant and people hate you? Because if you is, you ain't cut for the word. Yahusha was insignificant to the people at the time when he was on this earth, and they hated it. He said, your righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and your law is the truth. Trouble and anguish have taken hold upon me, yet your commandments are my delights. Now, we already read that last night. Wasn't trouble and anguish on him when he was out there praying and sweating like it looked like blood? Can you imagine sweating so hard that it looked like blood? Can you understand the level of anguish that is? Because he still was in the flesh. See, most of us don't. It ain't no different than put it in regular terms. Somebody who on death row and they know they getting executed. Because nobody knew he was going to die but him. He the only one who knew when he was going to die, how he was going to die, and how everything was going to go down. He's still in the flesh. That's a troubling thing. But that also points to why he said the flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing. Because his inward man was willing to go on up there and do that, but that flesh was like, I don't know about this. I'm trying to slide. That's why the word got to be in your heart. Because that word in your heart will overpower what the flesh wants to do. You should know that if you've been in the water and you start to drown, what your body start to do? You start to fight. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. That's what most of y'all flesh do when the word comes. They go to kick it. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I want to stay alive. I want to stay alive. The ruach like this here, nigga, be easy. And just let it go. But you don't want to let it go. And that's how you end up with, like that girl said, that most people who deal with the word are religious hypocrites, judgmental hypocrites. Because you point out what people doing, but you haven't put that to death in your own self. And then you think you're going to escape the judgment of Elohim. And you're not. Listen what he said in verse 144. The righteousness of your testimonies is everlasting. Give me understanding, and I shall live. Listen what he tell you, right? The testimony, the righteousness of his testimony is everlasting. What he told you about the fine linen, that's the what? The righteousness of the saints, right? You can only get, your garment should always be white, and you should lack no ointment. He said, I put on righteousness as a robe. See, that's faith. I always say the righteousness of your testimony because you know the truth. See, come over here to 1 John chapter 5. Put your legs down. You got on a skirt. Why is you trying to show your drawers to people? You want people to see your drawers? Shoot, I can't tell it. Aren't you a lady?
1 John
5 and 7. But 5 and 6, actually. Aren't you? Make it 5 and 4. Aren't you a lady? You're not a whore, are you? Somebody who show their drawers to strange people. You're a lady, are you not? All right then. 1 John 5 and 4. For whatsoever is born of Elohim overcome the world. And this is the victory that overcome the world. Even our faith. Who is he that overcome the world? But he that believed that Yahusha is the son of Elohim. This is he that came by water and blood, even Yahushua HaMashiach, not by water only, but by water and blood. And it is the Ruach that bear witness, because the Ruach is true. Remember, right? He tell you he's abundant in what? Goodness and truth. This man is reliable. For there are three that bear record in Shamahim, the Father, the Word, and the Ruach HaKadosh, and these three are one. There are three that bear witness in the earth, the Ruach, the water, and the blood, and these three agree in one. Now that take you back on law-wise with Ephraim, Manasseh, and Joseph. But you have to look at it. Why do these three agree in one? Because you need out the mouth of what? 2 or 3 witnesses. So the Father, the Son, and the Ruach, which was in the prophets who spoke of the Son coming, they all agree together. Same way, what did Moses call a record against the people to be a witness? Heaven and earth, 2 witnesses. That's all that's about. Where people get Trinity from, that's just not knowing the law. All they tell you got to have 2 or 3 witnesses for something to be deemed as true. Period. Point blank. Remember that? You remember that? Understanding how many angels he sent to Lot house? Got to have 2 witnesses. One angel wasn't gonna be enough. One angel wasn't gonna be enough. They down there messing with boys. Well, how am I supposed to believe that, son? What the other witness at? I went down there by myself. Well, I ain't saying you're lying, but I need another witness. Yahuwah always gonna do things according to his law. Why you think he sent John the Baptist before he sent the Lord? Why you think Yahushua sent the apostles out? How did he send them out? 2 by 2. Why do you think he did that? Because he's going to keep his own word. He's not going to go against his own word. He's going to do exactly. Come on, man. How this man going to condemn you and he ain't keeping it himself? That don't make sense. He said, if we receive the witness of men, the witness of Elohim is greater. For this is the witness of Elohim, which he has testified of his son. He that believe on the son of Elohim have witnessed in himself, and he that believe not have made Elohim. He that believed not Elohim have made him a liar, because he believed not the record that Elohim gave of his son. This is the record that Elohim has given to us, eternal life, and this life is in his son. He that have the son have life. He that have not the son of Elohim have not life. These things have I written unto you, that you believe on the name of the son of Elohim, that you may know that you have eternal life, and that you may believe on the name of the son of Elohim. And this is the confidence that we have in him. If we ask anything according to his will, he hear us. See, that's the thing, right? Like, and I'm mentioning that for a reason, because y'all know when Yahushua asked for that cup to pass, he wasn't passing because it wasn't according to his will. See, this is another thing too. You mentioned it in that video clip. You had something, when that was Thursday. So you know what people get messed up at? You go to Yahuwah, you ask him for this, you ask him for that. You don't get it. Or stuff don't go your way, and you mad with him. When whatever you ask him for, it has to be according to his will. And you know how y'all know that? Because y'all got kids. Let me say not kids, because ain't no baby goes in here. You have children. And your children ask you for things, and what they may ask you for from time to time is not according to your will. And do you grant that request if it's not according to your will? No, you do not. No, you do not. But if they make a request and it's according to your will, you have no problem giving them the desires of their hearts, especially if they're obedient. So why would you think it would be any different with the Father in heaven? And he just gonna grant every single solitary thing that you ask him for. It has to be according to what he got going on, not what you want. See, that's because that's how we done made this man to be like he human. That's why people be mad. That God ain't real. Because I prayed for this and I ain't get it. Who said it was for you, nigga? See, you know where that come from? You not understanding that it's not about you. It's about him. It's about what he got going on. That's why a lot of women in this, and especially in this society, have such a problem with operating with a man and being married, because it's not about you. It's about what he got going on in regards to fulfilling the will. And again, that doesn't mean the man can just run roughshod and be a douchebag, because he say he that ruleth amongst men must be what? Just. You know what I'm saying? So that's not what that means. But at the end of the day, you're the consort, you're the helpmeet. You're supposed that's simping right there. When you got around here and you think you the helpmeet for the woman, that is not the will of heaven. That is not what he set up. He didn't say, oh, it's not good for the woman to be alone. Let me make her a helpmeet. That ain't what he said, was it? He said the woman's supposed to be an aid, a help, and a relief to the man. He said, you know what, you by yourself, I'm going to make a gift for you. Because that woman is symbolic spiritually of him giving the ruach to man. That's what that's really pointing you to. Because Eve means what? The mother of all living. The ruach, by definition, is a feminine word. Not that the spirit itself is feminine. The word is. But see, we done dealt. That's been some years though. But we don't want to go too far off into that. You know what I'm saying? But it's to understand the point. It has to be according to his will. See, no just man is not going to grant the request of his wife. You know what I'm saying? He's just not going to deny every request. But you would have to understand it would have to be according to his will. Yahuwah is not just going to deny your request and you faithful and obedient just to deny them. Because you already got the example of that. Yahushua asked for that cup to pass, did he not? That was not according to the man's will. He didn't do it. I know we don't like to hear that because we've been taught that God is your personal genie here to serve you and give you all your heart's desires. And that's why people turn away when you just say like this here. Yahuwah ain't promised you no lot of money. He ain't promised you no big house, no fancy car. That man promised you food and clothing, and therefore be content. That's what he promised you. I've been telling you that for years. He ain't promised you nothing else other than that. What does the prayer say? Give us this day our what? Did you eat today? Shut your mouth.
Wow. They definitely want to hear that.
You got clothes on your back? Shut your mouth. You got a roof over your head? Shut your mouth. What is you complaining about? Because hold on. When they were when they were walking through, I'm saying this for a reason, right? Because the book say if a man don't take care of his own, what is it?
Infidel.
And he has done what? Now we already know that because we done went over this years ago. Did this man Yahuwah not provide for you? Did he not get them tents when they were going in the wilderness? Did their clothes get old? Did their shoes get old? Did he give them food to eat? And what were they doing? I hate this light bread, you no good bastard. We ain't got nothing to eat. We ain't got no water. You complaining, he giving you everything you need. But we had cucumber leeks and melons. I don't want this, I want it. You're ungrateful. You don't appreciate nothing. Because guess what? If somebody ain't ate today, what you complaining for? If somebody ain't got no clothes, they done had the same outfit on for 6 weeks straight. Ain't been able to take a bath or nothing. What you complaining for? I don't like where I live. Well, you got somewhere to live, what you complaining for? Matter of fact, you alive. What is you complaining for? And you get to serve Yahuwah. I don't understand the problem. I don't understand the problem. If he want to increase you, he'll increase you. But I done told you. You know why some people don't get increased? You ain't gonna know what to do with it. Don't get it twisted. Don't Psalms 37 say he'll give you the desires of your heart? Well, if you faithfully serve Yahuwah and there's certain things you desire, he'll let you get it. You might say, you know what? I want a new car, certain type of car. He might let you get it with no debt. You might want a certain type of home, apartment, whatever the case you want to dwell. He'll let you get it. You might want certain clothing. You might want to do something for your wife. You might want to get something for your kids. You might want to take a trip. He'll let you do it. Long as you faithful and obedient. Those are small things to him. Those really ain't big things. It's really not. That man said he could take a beggar from the dunghill and set him amongst kings. That man says, is it anything too hard for you? Absolutely not. So those are small things. What you stressing for? Well, you got food in your belly. Some of y'all grew up poor, so you know what it's like to be hungry. So you ought to be thankful. You know what I'm talking about? That man said, give us this day our daily bread. That man didn't say, give us this day thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. He said, give us this day our daily bread. If you ate today, thank the Lord. And he didn't say daily breads like multiple meals. He said daily bread. If you ate today, be thankful. See, that's the thing. We're ungrateful, so you're not thankful. You don't realize, man, that man provided some food for me today. I sure appreciate it. You just bless your food out of ritual and habit, not because you're genuinely thankful. You know what I'm saying? So you have to sit back and look at, are you genuinely thankful for the fact that, because remember, right, he showed mercy to the just and the unjust. So you ain't getting nothing extra special because he's serving mercy to you. That's just for you to understand, well, that's a good man. That's a good man. That's a just man. And even more so, that man say he delight to take care of those of the household of the faith. What type of man don't delight to take care of his house? If you got a man in the house and he don't delight to take care of his house, you don't pick the wrong man. You got the wrong man. Man delight to take care of his house. A just man will. You think a just, what type of like I said, I told you this before. As a matter of fact, my homie Trav said he went through this here with his congregation. Something I told him years ago. But it's the truth though. I like to get fresh. So if I'm married, you think my wife ain't gonna be fresh? What do I look like getting fresh and my wife ain't fresh? Like, ask yourself that question. How you gonna buy yourself an outfit? Don't buy your wife one. Don't buy your kids one. I say that because that's what Yahuwah do. You think Yahuwah gonna have his wife out here looking raggedy? Go read Ezekiel 16 and see what he gave. You know what I'm talking about? You got dudes who be like, I don't care how she look. You know there's people out here don't care how their kids look. How you let the little nigga walk around here and had a haircut? Take that nigga to the barber. You win. Your hair done. Why your daughter hair ain't done? Because this is how he operates. That man ain't finna sit around here and I'm on point and my family ain't. His family gonna be on point. If I'm fresh, we all fresh. That's how Yahuwah see it. If I'm full, we all full. If I got this, you got it too. But of course, you know why he had to stop doing some of that, right? Because you didn't know how to act when you got it. You didn't know how to act when you got it. Got beside yourself. You thought your beauty was on your own. Your beauty was from your husband. You ain't had no beauty till I came. Ungrateful. That's why he say what? Give me food convenient for me. Lest I be rich and say, who is Yahuwah? Or yes, I be poor and steal. You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes you just need to stay right there where you at. Not because for no other reason. You ain't gonna know what to do with it. Sometimes you don't even realize that, man, I can't come up. You ain't supposed to come up, boy. You're gonna forget God. Boy, stay where you at. You need to be focused on the Lord. That's why he got you right there. Just stay right there until you get your mind right. Then when you got your mind right, get that boy 20,000 real quick, man. Shoot that boy 100 right, man. Let that boy get a little bit of time. Boy, he can handle it now. See, you don't realize that. See, he different from your parents. See, your parents let you go out there and do stuff that you weren't ready to go do. So you fell dead slap on your face. See, Yahuwah don't father his children like that. He not gonna give you something that he know you can't handle, and he ain't gonna put you in a position that he know you can't do it. He'll make sure you good and trained that if you get in that position, you'll succeed. You don't throw no child out there in no situation that they're not ready to handle. You don't do that. I've been telling you that for years. If the society lasts that long, you don't put them children out of the house when they're 18. You might not need to put them children out of the house till they're about 25, 26 years old. Especially the boy. Let that boy get his paper right so he can be able to take care of his family seamlessly when you find him a wife. You don't throw him out there and be like, son, get it together like I did. That's a recipe for failure. For real. That's a recipe for failure. You let that boy stay that out. If you want him to pay a couple dollars, you work that out with you and your son. But you let that boy stay. That boy ain't no man at 22. So that boy ain't no man at 25. He's still a boy. That's 7 years from high school. How mature you think he gonna be? What life experience has he had? What opportunities has he had to build anything? You're supposed to make his transition into manhood as seamless as possible. Because then you're gonna sit around there, you're gonna mess somebody's daughter up, and now your grandchildren's stupid. And that's your fault. As a man, you ain't supposed to send that boy out there like that. You definitely ain't supposed to send your daughter out like that. Go find your man, girl. Oh, daddy, I'm pregnant. Oh, don't be a granddaddy. Your daughter's a whore. Your son out there to be a whore. Because now she didn't have 4, 5 boyfriends. Who knows how many random dudes she done slept with. You set her up for failure. Because you ain't want to keep her at the house. Keep an eye on her. You know you can't do. Every one of these young women in here, you can't send no young girl out here to her own devices. She ain't gonna do right. Most of y'all around here drunk. Look at these. I know I didn't do right. You be making the faces like you be doing right. But you be making the face. I know I wasn't doing right. Oh, that Don Julio.
That nigga said that Don Julio.
That doggone Hennessy.
Carlos Bernard.
That Carlos Bernard go hard on that honey tequila. That Carlos Bernard go hard. No, you can't drink out of my bottle. So I listen, this my bottle. Kill the germ. I ain't saying that to be rude, because like I said, you can't send no young boy out there. See, now his wilding gonna be different than a woman's wilding in her youth. But she want to have fun, so she gonna go seek out fun. He gonna seek out to be accepted by his peers or do what's going on around him and destroy himself in a different fashion. You know what I'm saying? It's different. No young boy, I want to go have fun, and he want to get some money and some hoes. Little stat, but you know what I'm saying? But he more than likely to follow behind his peers to the detriment of his future. You know what I'm saying? That's what he more likely to do. A young woman to destroy her future in the seeking out to have fun for gratification. You know what I'm saying? It's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Young boys ain't always seeking out to have fun because he know he needs some money. Because men already know, we done talked about this before. Ain't damn woman never got no man because she ain't had no money. It's a lot of fine broke hoes who ain't got no problem getting no man. Ain't too many dudes getting no women without no money. You know what I'm talking about? Not as no grown adult. Yeah, it'll work when you're 18, maybe 19. You get in the mid-20s and this, that, there, and the third. Oh, now she ain't paying you no attention. And that's why a lot of boys, I seen the dude try to compare men selling dope to women being on OnlyFans. Worst comparison I ever heard in life. Don't even compare. You know why that don't compare? Because selling dope is a risk to your life. You ain't risking nothing in your room taking a video of yourself, taking no pictures. You taking a major risk running them streets. You throwing rocks at the chain gang and the funeral home.
And you selling what God gave you. You gotta go get that re-up. I go get that.
She ain't never got to re-up that donkey.
All she gotta do is base.
She ain't gotta do that. She ain't gotta do that. She just taking pictures. Video.
Yeah.
She ain't gotta do that. A man.
He's trying to get attention.
Oh yeah, man. That's true too.
It was what it was. It was a dude who said something about how women got it easier because they could do things like OnlyFans, and that was his response to the dude.
Ain't that easy?
Oh no, it's not. It's definitely not. It's definitely not. It's definitely a business and a dangerous one. But at the end of the day, man, just remember, Yahuwah is faithful. His mercy endures forever, and He's just and righteous altogether. So hallelujah for Yahushua and word. We'll stop right there. We still got a little bit more to roll. If you don't put your legs down. Now, if I tell you that one more time, well, we're going to have a problem. No need to apologize. Respect yourself. So again, hey, man, I bless y'all at the house of Yahuwah in the name of Yahushua. Appreciate y'all. Bless y'all. Just remember the justice of Elohim. Let that mercy resonate in your heart. We'll keep on rolling on what we're doing in Psalms 119 and a few other places. And Yahuwah willing, to the next time. What may I do for you, Pot? Stay. Does the Bible ever stop? No, it doesn't ever stop. It just keeps going.